Well, let me tell you what's going to happen here. We've got championship commentaries for you on the Talksport network. Coventry Hull about to get underway on Talksport 2, as I say. Here on Talksport, top spot is up for grabs in the championship. A draw will do it for Leeds, but they want another win. Preston have lost only once at home since the opening day of the season, and they've got a manager who was given only 4 months in charge at Leeds. Paul Heckingbottom will be motivated. Preston Leeds, live and exclusive on Talksport. Chris Owellamo and Joe Shinnon.
Adrian, thank you. Good afternoon. What a championship title race we already have on our hands. And once again this weekend, it is an all-Yorkshire duel for top spot. Sheffield United lead the way at the moment, but Leeds had the chance to leapfrog them this lunchtime. Backed by nearly 6,000 travelling fans away to our left at the Bill Shankly end of Deepdale, where it is cloudy and chilly. Daniel Farke's side are hitting real form with a manic festive period to come. And Preston are rebuilding after a tough start to the season. What a great setting here at Deepdale, by the way. A place of real history and resonance. It could be a difficult venue for Leeds. Live on Talksport as the crowd are slowly filing in. We are packed in amongst them at the back of the main stand. It should be a tremendous atmosphere, and it's not a foregone conclusion, this, Chris Owellamo, by any means.
No, it's not. You know, this is a game that Preston North End have really got themselves up for. You know, I think last Boxing Day got the win here, really kind of performed well, were competitive, and that's what you can guarantee with a Paul Heckingbottom side. You know, I think he's brought in a little bit of experience, he's brought in a little bit extra quality, albeit not firing all cylinders. You know, Will Keane scored double figures the last 4 seasons, only 1 goal this campaign. You know, in and out the side. You know, only started 4 games out of the 7 that he's been involved in, but he is quality. He can capitalise on those moments that they create, and that's something that's been very telling in this little patch that they're going through. Only 1 win in the last 11 in all competitions, in the last 10 in the league, but 7 of those draws. It's small margins, Joe, isn't it? You know, and I think games where they've taken the lead 4 times, and those 3-0 lead away at Plymouth, 2-0 lead here at Norwich City, and they still don't manage the game and see the game out, and that is a massive concern, albeit off the back of a fantastic away result against Cardiff midweek. So there'll be confidence. You know, players will come in, they'll know exactly what they've got to do. I still feel that Paul Heckingbottom's setting them up to nullify the threat of Leeds United, albeit you can't just sit in with a low block and say, okay, attack via defence. You still have to pose some sort of threat, but with the quality that he's brought in the side, it's in that transition. Will they use the ball well? Are they going to be composed and brave enough to get on the ball and try and put Leeds on their back foot? That's what's needed from them today.
Let's confirm the team news for you as the teams come out onto the field from the tunnel on the far side between the Invincibles pavilion and the town end to our right, which is where the most vocal home fans are. Preston have Woodman in goal. Now we think it could be a back 3, but there's enough versatility in this Preston North End side that they could easily shift to a 4. If it is a 3, Potts, Story and Lindsay the centre halves, Kessler, Hayden and Brady the wing backs, Krokyar, Whiteman and McCann would be the midfield 3. Osmajic and Keane would be up front. For Leeds United, Meslier is the goalkeeper, Bogle, Roden, Strout and Byram the defenders, Tanaka and Rothwell holding, James, Aronson and Nonto behind Piru up front. And these are the subs as well for Preston: Cornell, Watmore, Rees, Ledson, Tordarson, Ockles, Holmes, Bauer and Bowler. And for Leeds, Darlow, Ampadu, Bamford, Solomon, Ramazani, Joseph, Gilavogi, Schmidt and Verber. And that tells you, Chris Owellamo, all you need to know about the strength in depth of this Leeds United squad. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very scary. I think it's you've got to give the Daniel Farke and his side a lot of credit. You know, the players that were moved on in the summer, the injuries that they've been thrown at, and understand, yeah, all teams have injuries, you know, but Ampadu, Gruev, what have they done? They've brought in, I've got to say, Tanaka. What a player he is, by the way. 3.3 million from the second Bundesliga. It's knowing your players. Daniel Farke, knowing what the league's about. He's done it time and time again, getting teams out of this division. You know, he knows Tanaka's with the attributes that he's got. He can come in, he can sit, he's box to box, technically very good, can see a pass. Creative, got that goal for Brendan Harrison as well against Middlesbrough the other day, just with a little bit of quality, selfless quality in that attacking third. but they are, they have a clear identity. I think Daniel Farke's, they've thrown at him, he's one-dimensional. If it's bringing success, they weren't a million miles away. It's something that I love. He's not afraid to put himself in the firing line as well. Towards the end of last season, he said, you know what, it's my fault we haven't won automatic promotion. My game management hasn't been great. We should have gathered enough points to have won automatic promotion. I think that's great management. The players respect the manager, they want to play for him.
Well, he's looking to become the third manager to win 3 promotions to the Premier League. Daniel Farke this season. Neil Warnock and Steve Bruce have already achieved that. Steve Bruce 4 promotions to the Premier League as a manager, and there's real expectation at Leeds United. There always is with Leeds United. They feel, of course, they should be a Premier League club. Preston North End have been looking over their shoulders, but there has been quite a revival since Paul Heckingbottom took charge. They're underway in the 12:30 kickoffs around the grounds, around the country. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in this lunchtime, and then from 2:30, Game Day Live on Talksport takes you around the grounds. At 3 o'clock on Talksport 2, we'll have commentary of Arsenal against Everton in the Premier League. Leicester 1, Chelsea 0 in the WSL is the latest score. Chelsea, the WSL leaders, who have won all 14 of their matches so far under Sonia Bonpastor, but behind its struggling Leicester by 1-0. They change ends ahead of kick-off, so Leeds in yellow with blue trim will be playing from right to left in the first half at Deepdale towards the Bill Shankly end, where that travelling masses, 6,000 away supporters, and Preston North End in the white shirts, dark blue shorts and white socks, playing from left to right. Nobody does live football like the Talksport network. It is a double bill of Championship football for you this lunchtime. A clash of 2 new managers as Coventry meet Hull on Talksport 2, and here at Preston North End, Leeds with a chance to go back top. We are off and underway on Talksport, live and exclusive. It is one of 50 games in the month of December. Here is Byron with an early ball forward for Leeds United, and Piru holds it up neatly. Threads the ball out to the left-hand side, and Willie Nonto now back to Rothwell on the halfway line, and Leeds have comfortable possession. So elegant on the ball, Leeds United. They won 5 of their last 6 league matches. Diagonal ball by Roden out towards the near side. The left is overhit. It'll be a Preston North End throw, and actually looking at it, Chris Iwelumo, former Scotland striker, alongside me. Maybe there was a bit of deception employed by the former Leeds boss Paul Heckingbottom in the pre-match warm-up, because although they warmed up with 3 centre-halves, they've actually gone with a back 4, it looks like.
Yeah, they have. Brad Potts playing right full-back. It's one of them. I think Stuart McCall, you work with your defence. You had Robbie Brady, Potts, and it looked very much that it was going to be 3 wing backs. But yeah, 4 at the back, 4-3-3. It looks like they're going to set up, which, yeah, I don't mind it at all. They just have to be good in possession of the ball, albeit Leeds have started well.
Chris Iwelumo, who once scored a hat-trick here playing for Wolves, including an overhead kick, and then you were sent off.
Yeah, I'm blaming Sean St Ledger for that one. He gave me the headbutt and landed about 4 metres away from me. Terrible refereeing decision.
Leeds trying to get in behind, and Preston North End smuggle it away. It drops up to the edge of the penalty area, and James, who can't force his way through. The ball is cleared upfield by Jordan Storey, the centre-half. Now it's won back by the tenacious Osmaic, only as far as Brendan Aronson for Leeds. All Leeds in the very early stages, 0-0. James to the dead ball line, quick feet and a good cross in towards Nonto, headed away. Frockyar brings it down for Preston. He tries to flick it beyond Tanaka. He's done that, and he's played it over the halfway line towards Osmaic, and the flag has stayed down. He's onside. Potts on the overlap near side the right. Back to Osmaic in the area. Tries a shot from the angle. That's charged down by Roden. Now Ali McCann goes for goal left-footed and fizzes one wide. A lively start at Deepdale in the Championship. Leeds only need a point, remember, to go back top at least for a couple of hours or so. Sheffield United host Plymouth at Bramall Lane, and of course we'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in there from Talksport. Sheffield United against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth, but lively at both ends so far, Chris. 0-0.
Yeah, defended well, Leeds there. Frockyar got the ball driving out, excellent bit of quality as well, driving through the middle of his own half. I felt that the ball to Majic could have got a little bit in behind, has to put a little bit more quality onto it. But then you say, and asking the question, he's going to be an absolute handful, Majic, isn't he, in that attacking area. He's got that physicality, he runs, he's a very strong runner. Good block in the end as well from Stroik as well.
If you want commentary of Coventry against Hull, the score currently 0-0 at the CBS Arena. You can just download our free app and swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2 at your leisure. Leeds, one of the most entertaining sides in the Championship and the highest scorers in the division coming into this weekend. 36 times they have found the back of the net. Already a busy start to the Championship weekend after Derby thrashed Portsmouth last night on Talksport 2. Good turn by Lindsay, midway inside his own half. The Preston defender, and now Kane Kesler-Hayden, who's on loan from Aston Villa. Square ball infield to the middle of midfield, and Keane, the former Manchester United man, and Potts touches it square, almost into the path of Frockyar, and Struck had to come across to sweep it away from danger out towards this near side of the field. Preston have it again with Whiteman. His touch is heavy, and the loose ball won back by Joel Piroux. Preston 0, Leeds 0. 3.5 minutes played on Talksport.
We'll have to say fantastic quality from Preston, playing through a really good high press from Leeds as well. Liam Lindsay just with a little Cruyff turn straight away, creates space for himself, drives forward, and then the big switch of play as well. Will Keane kept alive, and that's what you want from Brad Potts, that energy down that right hand side. Okay, his touch was a little bit hard for Osmajic. If it take a little bit off it, he's getting an opportunity to goal there for sure.
Forward by Struck, up the inside left channel, hooked away by Ali McCann for Preston North End, and now Potts feeds Keane with the ponytail on the halfway line. Early ball up the right from Frockyar for Osmajic to chase. He had an 8-game ban earlier this season, Milutin Osmajic. He has scored his first goal since coming back into the team after that ban in the midweek win over Cardiff. That was Preston's first away league victory since March, and he's just shoved Roden in the back, and that's a Leeds United free kick deep inside their own territory. But
that's the ball that's always on. Ali McCann, the little one down the right hand side with a little bit of quality. Osmajic is going to chase everything, and to be fair to Joe Roden, had to follow him all the way, come across his central partner.
What a diagonal ball from Al Tanaka, left to right to find Byram on the near side of the field, and now Nonto dribbling away from Potts and teasing him, and Potts has slipped but recovered impressively. In fairness, looked as though he'd stumbled there, but he stuck out a long leg to take it away from Nonto. Out of play it goes for a Leeds throw. Down by the corner flag, Leeds playing from right to left, all in yellow today.
Well, you called it. What a ball. Tanaka, he has that.
He's a class player, isn't he?
Yeah, fantastic range of passing, isn't it? But Willie Nonto and, like you say, Dan James on the right, they're always an outlet. They always want the ball. And that's what you want from Brad Potts. Stop the cross from coming in. Great defensive challenge on Willie Nonto there.
Good hold-up play by Joel Piroux. Back to the halfway line where Roden is standing alone in the centre circle. Scored his first Leeds United goal, only his second in club football in the home victory over Derby last weekend. Ball down the middle aimed at Nonto, but McCann with a good interception. An important cog in that Preston midfield, McCann.
See, this is everyone's coming back behind the ball for Leeds, and this is where I think Osmajic needs that communication. Can you be our outlet? Can you try and steal a few yards? Try and just kind of disrupt the likes of Joe Roden and Pascal Struijk. You know, you can't allow them just to win every second ball, and the ball just keeps coming back. I understand you need to do your job defensively for the team, but you have to just cheat sometimes. And you can share that. Will Keane, Osmajic, you know, Frockyar, they can change that. They can work that one between them.
That's the voice of the former Scotland striker Chris Iwelumo, also ex-Burnley, Wolves, Colchester United. Here is Tanaka on the halfway line, back towards Roden. A chilly early afternoon in Lancashire. We had a lot of bright sunshine earlier, but that's given way to rather murky clouds overhead. The former Leeds boss, 4 months he spent in charge at Elland Road, Paul Heckingbottom, stands on the touchline on the far side with his arms folded. Here come Leeds with Byram trying to touch it left to Nonto. That's a poor touch, and Potts, ever dependable, is there to roll it square to Story, who goes back to goalkeeper Freddie Woodman, and his clearances slice straight out of play. You can probably tell by the ironic chants of the Leeds fans. It's a big crowd at Deepdale today. So much history about this stadium, a ground of great character. Preston, though, have really looked like they're challenging for the prospect of a Premier League promotion in recent seasons. And the manager, Ryan Lowe, was sacked after the opening game of the season, that home defeat to Sheffield United, which feels a long time ago now. Since then, wins have been hard to come by, but they have made themselves so much harder to beat. Preston 0, Leeds 0, and Preston allowing Leeds to enjoy possession on the halfway line, and McCann steps in and fouls Nonto, who goes down. Such a tricky player at this level, Willie Nonto, Chris.
Yeah, that low centre of gravity causing all sorts of problems. He's so strong with the ball as well, protects it very well, always wants the ball. This is something I love with this front four. They rotate very well, create those little spaces, but they always present themselves. This defensive unit of Leeds gets their head up, and they've got so many options all the time.
A point enough to take Leeds top of the Championship this lunchtime, at least for a few hours, of course. Here is Byron with the ball in field to Tanaka. Back now to Rothwell, midway inside Preston territory. The busy festive period to come. Leeds are at home to Oxford next Saturday, then away at Stoke on Boxing Day, live on Talksport 2, before a home game, before a trip to Derby, which will be live on Talksport. Reverse ball from Nonto goes straight out of play. And that's a Preston goal kick away to the left-hand side. And actually, after quite an energetic opening couple of minutes, since then, it has settled down a little, and it's been a game of really no even half chances so far. First 9 minutes gone 0-0.
Yeah, no chances really, but it is a concern already. For a Preston point of view, Sam Byram was already taking up that advanced area, really inside Willie Nonto. Now, they've not asked too many questions in behind, so that's just where the quality, and they've defended well, they've stopped crosses from coming in, they've had opportunity to play out, but they don't really have that outlet. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's so important that one of that attacking three has to just stay up and just occupy the two defenders, but be there so that they're an outlet for that direct ball into body, into feet, or even the quality into channels.
Well, Leeds so dominant so far, utterly dominant in terms of possession. They have lost 2 of their last 3 away league matches, though. That will provide some hope for Preston North End. That's a poor ball in field by Roden, scampering up down that far side of Leeds right. Preston with Kesler Hayden going back to goalkeeper Woodman. Woodman clears right-footed. It fizzes high towards the halfway line, and Nonto's there to head it out of play for a Preston throw, 0-0.
Yeah, it's better distribution though from Woodman.
Yep.
And the Preston goal, it's so important. The ball's going to come back. He has to make sure that they keep possession of the ball. He's already had a few mislaid passes there. That's good quality, trying to find Potts, or you're looking at Kesler Hayden on the opposite side. If anything, worst case scenario, you're winning a throw in on the halfway line, because defensively Leeds are doing their job.
Crossfield ball from Potts, right to left, headed on by Brady, and out comes Ilan Meslier to the edge of his penalty area, and he has to kick it clear left-footed. Safety first, straight out of play, and it's a Preston throw that Brady takes quickly, the former Bournemouth man. Now Whiteman out to the left, and Kesler Hayden looked to play the reverse ball down the inside left channel. Brady was never going to get to that, way overhit by the young man Kesler Hayden, a former FA Youth Cup winner, and it's easy for Meslier in that bright pink Leeds United goalkeeping kit to get the ball back again. And Leeds, the pattern of play very much established here. We knew that Leeds would have plenty of the ball, and they are one of the most entertaining sides in the division. I think it's fair to say they do play some of the best football in the Championship.
Yeah, definitely. They like to play through the thirds at their own pace as well. I will say there's been a few occasions where, like you say, Roden's got the ball, that attacking three of Preston are going and trying to press high, but they're on their own. They can't do that. They have to set the distances between the midfield line and that attacking line have to be spot on, because Leeds have too many players that can just drop into the hole. Aronson, Tanaka, Rothwell, Nonto, Daniel James, and just cause you so many problems. So it's important that communication's right. Understand when it's on to go and win it. Yeah, go and press, but that information has to come from behind.
Leeds have the ball now in front of the stand that is named after the Invincibles, the legendary Preston side. On that far side of the field, Roden, the number 6, back to Piru, and now Tanaka on the halfway line. Such a cultured player. Rothwell in the centre circle. They've got an abundance of talent in the central midfield area, in particular Leeds United. Ethan Ampadu made his return from injury off the bench on Tuesday night in the home win over Middlesbrough, live on Talksport 2, that was. This is Talksport, live and exclusive from the Championship. And it's Preston North End 0, Leeds United 0. 12 minutes gone. Goalless in our game on Talksport 2. Coventry 0, Hull 0. Bristol City against QPR also goalless. In fact, there hasn't been a single goal in any of the early kickoffs in the EFL so far this lunchtime. Brady with the ball back to Whiteman, just shy of halfway. Out to the left, and Brady again. Crossfield left to right. Potts is chasing. Brady's overhit that, and it goes out of play for a goal kick to Leeds United in Ilan Meslier.
Yeah, it's an out ball. I think Potts is going to bring you that energy. If anything, maybe the touchline. Can he kind of be a little bit closer? He's coming inside a little bit too close to Franco there, so there's not really a lot of room for error from that big switch of play from Brady.
It has been a low-key start to the game so far, I think it's fair to say. From 2:30 we'll go around the grounds around the country on Talksport with Adrian Durham. Robert Huth, the former Leicester defender, part of our team on Game Day Live today, and a classified check at 5 o'clock. 3 o'clock on Talksport 2, there's full commentary of Arsenal against Everton, and Southampton against Tottenham, and Chelsea against Brentford live on the network from the Premier League tomorrow, as well as Norwich against Burnley tomorrow on Talksport 2. Good ball by Bogle, down the right-hand side for Leeds. James is in, he can pull it across towards Peru. Turned behind by a stretching Story for the first time in the game. Preston were a bit exposed. It's a Leeds United corner in front of the travelling fans.
Well, Jayden Bogle, excellent quality. Driving inside, coming into the centre circle. Little one takes it with the outside of his right foot. Dan James is already gone. He's going. Reads it, times it perfectly. The weight of pass was excellent. And the only thing I will say is that the ball from Dan James across, I think defensively, Liam Lindsay, John Story were back. Body position was right. He has to cut it back, I think.
Well, it's Roden who's right-footed out-swinging corner. Rothwell, who's right-footed out-swinging corner, might look for Roden here on the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away. That was the combination that saw Leeds score the opener against Derby in the Championship last weekend. This time Preston deal with it. Back out to the near side of the left, and Aronson with the gloves on and the green boots. He's taking on Kesler Hayden. Infield to Byram, who's about 25 yards out. Preston with plenty back behind the ball. It's 0-0. Nonto out wide to the near side. Byram with plenty of time to bring it under control. He's got James in support, 10 yards behind him. James infield to Nonto again, and Leeds continue to build. Byram now has to go backwards to Rothwell, and Rothwell shuffles infield, but Preston doing a very good job, as you'd expect under Paul Heckingbottom, of being compact off the ball. You can hear the applause from the home fans as Leeds have to go back to the halfway line.
It's excellent. You're looking at Alan McCann, Potts there. You know, Frankie on this right-hand side as well. Just everyone just taking responsibility. You know, they're shuffling across, communicating well, taking the man. Even though Leeds are moving it quickly, you know, they're not really getting any joy off the back of it, having to go back and recycle it, Leeds. And that gives it Preston a little bit of respite, an opportunity to step that defensive line up as well.
Tranmere struggling in League 2, 0. Harrogate 1 is the latest score. James Daly has put Harrogate in front on the Wirral. And Salford 1, Notts County 0 is the latest score. Conor McAlady with the only goal of the game so far at Salford City. That's also in League 2. 0-0 here at Deepdale. Quarter hour played. Here is James, one-on-one with Potts on the near side again for Leeds. He switch wings out onto the left-hand side. Potts makes a tackle. It's gone only as far as Rothwell, who dinks it in, that high reverse ball, and it's easy for Woodman to come out of his goal and gather into his chest.
Yeah, he had a lot of time there, Rothwell. I don't think he had to force the pass. You know, great little run from Perot, but like you say, just a little bit too much on it. Easy one for Freddie Woodman to come out and collect. That's when you just want a little bit more quality from Rothwell. Can he bounce it in? Albeit, I think they've got two defensive banks they've got to break down.
Good work by Story to smuggle the ball away from James as Preston North End look to play the ball out of defence. Here is Whiteman just inside the centre circle, and he steers the ball square to the left, and Kane Kesler Hayden on the halfway line. Little return pass from Brady to find him. Quite a leisurely atmosphere in the home sections of the ground. It's a little quiet, maybe it's the early starts. Forward by Lindsay, high towards Osmajic, and an easy header away from Jayden Bogle, back in the Leeds team today after missing out in midweek with a hamstring problem. Roden has fouled Osmajic, and that's a free kick to Preston North End. And of course, that duel, Chris Iwelumo, you got a wry smile on your face. It's going to be so key today, isn't it, that battle between those two?
Yeah, you called it. Massive, isn't it? You know, I think Osmajic, you know what you're going to get from him. He took a poor touch there, but he knew he was going to take a sore one. He threw himself at it, kind of taking it with the face, and the Roden's come up with a high boot. There wasn't too much contact, but still, high boot the referee. It is a free kick, but he is an absolute nuisance, Osmajic. You know, he's got that physicality. His touch can be better. It has to be better at times. He's got to bring players in. He's got to give Preston that respite and let them come up and support. But like you say, it's going to be a fantastic, entertaining battle, and he will occupy both centre-backs. It's just about the quality that he's going to be receiving from that defensive unit and midfield unit behind him.
Preston in their familiar white and dark blue from left to right in the first half towards the town end of the ground, the Alan Kelly end. And Kesler Hayden's taken the free kick short and square on the halfway line, and he's been whipped cross-field. Whiteman out to the left and Brady to deliver. High to the back post, Lindsay climbing, can only head it wide, and that goes down as a real opportunity, I think, that for Preston North End. Big Liam Lindsay at the back post, under pressure, yes, from Jayden Bogle. Only 6 yards out and nowhere near on target.
Yeah, he's taken it so well. Probably he's there hanging, probably arms on the back of Bogle there, but like you say, he's had to do what he had to do. Excellent ball in from Robbie Brady. You can't really give a player of his quality that time and space down that left-hand side.
Remember, the Talksport network is the only place to hear live and exclusive national radio commentaries of the EFL once again this season. What a fascinating title race is developing into. Leeds at the moment are top, ahead of Sheffield United only on goal difference, and of course they will have played a game more. Chris Wilder's side face Plymouth in the Championship at 3 o'clock. Burnley at the moment 4 points further back. They're away at Norwich tomorrow afternoon, live on Talksport 2, Scott Parker's team. And Norwich, who are hoping to put themselves back into the playoff picture. But in terms of the title, it does feel like 1 of 4. And 2 of 4 for the automatic promotion spots, because Sunderland are also in the mix. And who knows, maybe Blackburn and Middlesbrough too. It's an unpredictable division, the Championship. That's what makes it so good. Here is McCann on the near side. Marauding infield for Preston. Potts back out wide to the right-hand channel and Frockyar. 19 minutes gone, 0-0. Frockyar's ball, little touch from Keane. Back towards Frockyar again. Nudges the ball to the left with the outside of his foot. Kesler Hayden runs onto it. Wide right on the far side is Robbie Brady taking on Bogle. Brady gets the dead ball line and the cross is deflected behind, and Preston North End have their first corner of the afternoon.
Yeah, he's always wanting the ball. Robbie Brady causing all sorts of problems down that left-hand side, just manipulating the ball. Good defensive challenge as well from Bogle, but Frockyar, I tell you what, he's seen a lot of the ball, isn't he? Driving across, little give and go, receiving it back, and that's what you want. You have to be brave in possession, and at the minute Preston have put Leeds on the back foot.
A playoff chasing Bolton 0, struggling Wigan 1 is the latest score. Dale Taylor has got the goal for Wigan. A corner now to Preston North End. It'll be taken short by Whiteman to Brady, left edge of the penalty area, back out to Whiteman to deliver, right-footed, headed away easily by Byron for Leeds. Poor delivery. It's come back out to McCann, who's under pressure from Aronson charging at him. Frockyar with a simple 20-yard ball back to the centre circle where Kesler Hayden is waiting. Good spell of possession this for Preston North End. They've got the ball in front of the dugouts on the far side. Kesler Hayden now in a more central position. And you have to say, I think Paul Heckingbottom will be delighted overall with the first 20 minutes, Chris Wellamo.
Yeah, he'll be delighted. I think defended really well. Really kind of nullified that threat. Leeds, he had one little opportunity with Dan James with a Bogle down the right-hand side, but other than that, I think they've been comfortable. Defended well, but what I've been most impressed with is how they've used the ball. I think kept possession, not afraid to go back to the likes of a Kesler Hayden or a Jordan Storey who's probably playing a little bit deeper than usual when from set pieces, corner kicks and things like that. But they've always got an opportunity. Will Keane making the ball stick, bringing other players in, and that's what they have to do. They have to be very, very brave in possession.
Leicester 1, Chelsea 0 is a half-time score in the Women's Super League this lunchtime. Only 1 win all season in the league so far for Leicester, against the champions who had won. 9 on the spin coming into today. Long ball downfield by Woodman for Preston North End. It was a free kick from inside the Preston half, and they actually sent the centre halves Lindsay and Storey forward, but Lindsay jumping on the edge of the 6-yard box couldn't get there, and it's a goal kick to Leeds United away to our right hand side. It is certainly an effective setup from Paul Heckingbottom and Preston North End. 4 draws and a win in their last 5 matches, so no great lack of confidence, and you've got to give them credit so far for the way that they are stifling what is the considerable attacking threat of Leeds United. Goalless, and we haven't really had a meaningful clear-cut chance. Here come Leeds with James. Appeals for handball not given. He's threaded it left to Aronson. 25 yards out left of centre. Shuffles the ball infield onto his right. Now Rothwell takes over. Blocked off by McCann. Rothwell darts down the middle. Kesler Hayden tries to make a tackle. In the end, it's dropped for Potts. Potts will smuggle it clear up to Osmajic. He's held it up well away from Strout. They're tearing forward on the counter in white and dark blue. Osmajic from the right. That's a great ball for Potts. And it's in! It's squeezed beyond Meslier. What a counter-attack from Preston. Preston North End. They catch Leeds United cold. Potts there to tap it in at the back post. An extraordinary run down the right-hand side from Milutin Osmajic. It looked like they practiced that on the training ground, the home team, and Potts' effort was not kept out by Meslier. I think I have to say there might be some blame on the part of the Leeds United goalkeeper for that. It squirmed through his gloves, and it's Preston 1, Leeds 0.
It's an excellent goal, isn't it? I've got to say they're going toe-to-toe, defending really well. Osmajic occupying the defenders is a great one. First touch from as well. He rolls his man, he takes that touch, and he's sprinting into this right-hand channel. The ball to Potts was outstanding. Just feels it in, whips it in between last defender and goalkeeper. Potts had a lot to do. Left foot, just make sure the contact is good. Steer it goalwards. I agree with you. I think Meslier has to do better. Has to do better at his near post. I think he gets two hands on it, but pushes it into his own goal there. He can't take anything away from the break. The energy. As soon as Osmajic took that touch on the halfway line and knocked it into the channel, they had four players sprinting at full tilt, going, making sure that they had options and opportunities in the box. Brad Potts, wow, the distance he covered there, Joe. What a goal.
It is a game plan that in the first 23.5 minutes has worked to perfection for Preston North End. Brad Potts with a late run on the end of it. The man who's playing at right back today ended up in the left wing position, and there to tap in after the wonderful strike play from Osmajic. But Illan Meslier, who we've seen make horrendous mistakes this season in the Leeds United goal, that horrible error. I think you were there, Chris, against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. We saw him lack concentration at times and have a drop in confidence in Leeds' last Premier League season. He's capable of brilliance, the still young Frenchman, and he doesn't know where to play the ball now out from the back as Leeds try to restart play and try to get themselves back into it. But he is a very inconsistent goalkeeper at times. Preston 1, Leeds 0, Chris Wellerman.
Yeah, well, he has to react in there. He just has to, obviously he'll know he's made the error. But straight away, when you've got the ball at your feet, you've got options, you've got good players that want the ball, so you don't just slow down and let the fans here gather a little bit of momentum. I think Preston at the minute on the front foot. Look at this, look how well organised they are.
James left-footed effort, that's well blocked by Lindsay. As Leeds look to get back on the front foot in the 25th minute on Talksport. Offside against Nonto. Free kick given to Preston North End. It has been the game plan that Heckingbottom could only have dreamed of. The Preston boss against his old side. Yeah,
the players have taken responsibility, put it into action. Even there, Willie Nonto coming to get the ball. The defensive line steps up. He's offside. It's fantastic communication, but this is something a Paul Heckingbottom side has. They're well organised, they're well structured, they understand what he's trying to implement, and they're taking this game on. It's impressive to see.
Tranmere 1, Harrogate 1 in League 2. Christian Dennis with the equaliser for Tranmere, who started the day only 4 points clear of the League 2 relegation zone. So Preston 1, Leeds 0, live on Talksport in the Championship. Coventry 0, Hull 0 over on Talksport 2. Just download our free app. You can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Bristol City 0, QPR 0, the latest score. Bolton 0, Wigan 1 in League 1. Leyton Orient 0, second bottom Burton 0. And in League 2, Salford 1, Notts County 0, Tranmere 1, Harrogate 1, as you've been hearing. And half-time in the WSL, Chelsea 1-0 down at Leicester. Leicester 1, Chelsea 0. You're up to date on Talksport. And Leeds, thanks to that goal from Potts, have been knocked off the top of the table. Only a draw needed today to go back to the summit, at least until Sheffield United play at 3 o'clock. But Leeds are behind, and so far, as Daniel Farke, the very experienced head coach, stands on the far side of the field, just behind the man who's going to take the throw for Leeds, Jayden Bogle. He's got his arms folded, Daniel Farke, and Leeds have struggled to create in the way that we are expecting them to do so. Here is Bogle caught on the penalty area for them. The cross is deflected away. Preston have been excellent out of possession. And that's a high ball by Brady. Floated up the left towards the real outlet in the form of the burly striker Osmajic, but he can't keep it in, and Leeds have a throw. Chris.
You're right there. Spot on. Excellent out of possession. But what's been really impressive is in that transition when they win the ball back, it's the right pass. It's the right decision. They don't panic. They're not just clearing it to anywhere and giving it straight back to Leeds. They're trying to play out and more often than not they've found that pass, they've kept possession of the ball, and they've actually progressed up the pitch as well. So Paul Heckingbottom will be absolutely delighted.
Ticking towards the 28-minute mark, and the Preston goalkeeper Freddie Woodman has not had a shot to save. Here is Piru infield from the Leeds left, little flick by Byron. Aronson is clear on goal, and the shot is blocked. What a tackle, sliding in from the goal scorer Potts. Well, I thought it came off him. Leeds can't believe they haven't got a corner. Goal kick given by the referee, and almost right on cue, Leeds United do create their first big chance. Aronson maybe should do better.
Oh, it has to do better. It's a great little touch from Perot as well, outside of the boot. Aronson takes his first touch well, takes it in. Woodman keeps himself big. Potts is putting that pressure on. I think he has to release the shot earlier. I don't understand why he's allowing Woodman to get as close as that. He then has to lift it. He's just trying to find that bottom right hand corner, but it took far too long to release the shot.
Well, goal kick was given by the referee, and the ball is back with the Leeds goalkeeper Meslier, away to our right hand side. Better from Leeds, lovely football in the build up. Good ball by Piru to the edge of the penalty area, and a neat flick by Byron. Aronson, who scored in midweek, perhaps should have found the equaliser today, and it is an afternoon where Leeds may not get the flurry of clear-cut chances that we saw them have on Talksport at home to Derby in that 2-0 win last weekend. It should have been 6, and 3 goals on Tuesday night at Ellen Road as well.
Well, they're having to work very hard to create anything. I think they have to move the ball a little bit quicker to try and frustrate and even pull this Preston squad out of position. They're so well structured, and I've got to say, I think that front three, Frankie, Will Keane and Osmajic, they're dropping back, they're taking responsibility, being very selfless for the team, but in this, at the same time, one of them just drifting forward and occupying that defensive unit as well of Leeds.
And Leeds have possession with Tanaka, 10 yards into opposition territory. Preston sitting deep off the ball and looking a really potent threat on the counter-attack, and it was a counter-attacking burst that has led to the only goal of the game so far. Leeds trail, and as it stands would miss the chance to go back top of the championship. Tanaka down the middle to Aronson, very congested area, 3 in white shirts around him. Tanaka's got the ball again now, very murky skies overhead and the floodlights are on. Tanaka touches it just to his right, and Aronson out on the far side for Leeds is Bogle, who now scampers infield into a more central area. Tanaka's layoff is poor for once. Leeds want a free kick. They felt that Bogle was fouled on the follow through. Referee John Busby not interested. Preston smuggled it away. What they aren't maybe doing, Preston, in the last couple of minutes or so, half an hour gone, they lead 1-0, is really getting the balls into the feet of that outlet, Osmajic up front. Then an overhit pass from Strout is through to the Preston goalkeeper.
Well, he's not there all the time, Joe. He's got to drop back because the likes of Tanaka, Rothwell, they're seeing a lot of the ball, so he's got to drop back and make sure they've got the right numbers in those situations. I've got to say, I think Leeds, Tanaka moving the ball really, really well, but the only space they're getting is out to a Bogle, is out to a Byron. And straight away, that's Preston. They've done their job, and I think that's the way that Heckingbottom set them up. A lot of numbers in those central areas, forcing Leeds into the wide area, because that's where you want them to go.
The 5,500 plus Leeds fans behind the goal to the left, frustrated with what they feel was some early time wasting from Freddie Woodman, holding on to the ball, the Preston goalkeeper. It's not really been too much of a spoiling game though from Preston, because they have looked enterprising when they have counter-attacked and run at Leeds United. Forward by Bogle for Leeds, and it was a miscue by Lindsay. It dripped, the ball dropped underneath his foot, almost fell for Nonto, who was shrugged aside by Story, and Preston have it back. Then they give it away on the halfway line with Frockyar. Whatever happens tonight, you'll be able to have your say. Preston and Leeds fans on the game day phone in from 5:30, 03717 223344 is the number to call. Ben Whiteman is going to get booked here for tripping Aronson as Leeds look to break in between the lines. He is no stranger to yellow cards. Whiteman, this will be his 8th of the season.
Yeah, he has to. He knew what he was doing as well. It was a great turn from Aronson as well. Just got away from Whiteman there, and you know what? He just had a little clip of the heels. Referee was positioned well. It is a yellow card, but it's a silly one to take, because that might be a pivotal moment. You don't want to see him, because he just gets caught up in the game. He puts in the challenges. He is one of those players that he is quite aggressive on the front foot.
So as it stands, Sheffield United will retain their advantage at the top of the championship table. Leeds trail. Joel Piroux with a long-range shot. It was 30 yards out, and it would have had to have travelled through a sea of bodies, a sea of white shirts in front of him. And in the end, the first man, McCann, was there to make the block. So Sheffield United, actually, if they were to win, assuming Leeds were beaten here, and there's still a long way to go, Sheffield United would have the chance to go 4 points clear at the top later. Here is Gnonto for Leeds, shuffling feet and then a good ball out to the left to the near side, and James, corner of the penalty area, great cross right-footed, but nobody in the yellow shirt can get near it, and Freddie Woodman able to gather.
It's not a bad ball at all from James. You know, Byron was in there in the box, Piroux was in there. He's beaten the first man. You know, it's right on top of Freddie Woodman as well. You just want someone trying to make some sort of slight contact of that ball. You know, I think it was an excellent ball in from Dan James.
Notts County were hoping to move into the League Two playoff positions this lunchtime, but they're 2-0 down away at Salford City. Cole Stockton has got the second goal for Salford. Header away by Story for Preston. Little flick by Frocchia up towards the halfway line. It's won back by Tanaka. Square ball to Roden inside the centre circle, looking to tear forward for Leeds United. Held up though by Keane. Everybody behind the ball again for Preston. Barros Majic. Sweeping ball right to left from Tanaka. It's eluded Potts and it's kept in play on the dead ball line by James in front of the Leeds fans. He's nutmegged Potts and the ball took a slight nick off the Preston goal scorer. And Leeds United have got a corner again in front of those travelling fans. This one's on the near side of the field.
See, it's a position that Potts does what he found himself 1v1 with Dan James. Excellent bit of skill, just kind of swept it through the legs of Potts there, but defensively done his job, got a slight contact to put out for a corner, but he's got to have a chat with Jordan Story and say, when I go out, you've got to come out and help me there. 2v1, make sure that we nullify the cross, stop that cross from coming in.
Joe Rothwell is going to take the corner for Leeds, one arm up into the air, it'll be right-footed and in-swinging, deep to the far post, nobody there in a Leeds shirt, and Strouk looks to the referee, thought he was being held. John Busby had a very good view of it, only 5 or 6 yards away. Goal kick to Preston, who have dealt admirably with the Leeds United threat up to this point, and you can see exactly why Paul Heckingbottom has had such an impressive impact since taking over from Ryan Lowe. Yes, they haven't won many games, but they are so difficult to break down.
Yeah, but they have created chances, and like you say, those 7 draws in the last 11-10 games.
That's it.
They have created chances that they can put the points on the board, and that's the frustration. This team perform well 60-70 minutes, and then is it fitness? Is that a question that's thrown at them? They kind of drop off the levels a little bit. So this game's taken a lot out of them because they're playing a lot of football without the ball.
Having to work really hard, aren't they, Chris?
But
constant
they are
chasing. And mental awareness as well, more than anything.
Well, that's it, concentration. You have to be switched on, concentrated for obviously the 96, 97 minutes, whatever it may be. But then in that moment, when in that transition, that's what they've done very well. They've broken up the Leeds play, and then they've used the ball well.
Here is Aronson, left wing position now for Leeds. Piroux among those in the middle. Aronson dribbles towards the dead ball line, shuffles away from Potts. Right-footed in, swinging cross, away by Kessler Hayden. Drops down to Rothwell, 25 yards out. The spin on the turn by Bogle, and then a strong sliding challenge from Whiteman. The free kick is given by the referee, and he could be in trouble here. The Leeds players are furious with the challenge, and I think Strouk is making the point to John Busby that should be a second yellow. It was a lunge by Whiteman right on the edge of the penalty area. And John Busby has a big decision to make here. Whiteman can't believe it, but this is a major flashpoint in the game, and is he about to get a second yellow card? 36 minutes in, Busby is explaining his decision to Strouk and to Whiteman, and I wonder whether the Preston man is going to get away with it. Daniel Farke and Paul Heckingbottom are having words on the far side touchline. There's a couple of stewards who have had to step in. Words exchanged between both benches and the fourth official. It's kicking off on the field in the Championship this lunchtime at Deepdale. And Leeds are furious. Certainly the supporters cannot believe that Whiteman has not got a second booking. That is a major controversy in this game.
Joe, the ball was there to be won. Now, Whiteman did win the ball. It was a very strong challenge on Bogle. The referee wasn't going to give it. Now, I'm looking at the referees thinking, wait a minute, it's a strong challenge. And then it's the reaction of Bogle. He's went to the ground, he's rolled over. Now, for the referee that he's pulled it as a free kick, I've got to say Whiteman is a very, very lucky boy that he's not received.
He's going to go over to the far side touchline now, John Busby. Is he going to book Daniel Farke possibly here? He's walked towards the fourth official. And it's a yellow card for Daniel Farke, and a yellow card. Now, was that for Heckingbottom or was that for the Preston assistant, Stuart McCall? Well, certainly the Leeds boss has been booked, and he's still raging, Daniel Farke. Leeds feel that Preston should be down to 10 men. What they do have is a free kick, dead centre, right on the edge of the D, very much within range here for Joel Piroe.
Yeah, and he has the quality. You know, it's that right distance as well to get it up and down over the wall. You know, the keeper's going to see it late. But the referee, John Busby, had a big decision to make there. Whiteman, very, very fortunate.
You with Talksport. Rothwell standing over it as well. Piroe curls it left-footed into the wall. Poor free kick. Comes back out to Piroe. That's a snapshot that deflects high off Osmaic. You can tell by the cheers from the fans around us. They're packed in this Sir Tom Finney side of the ground, and it's an easy gather for Woodman, who's still not had a serious save to make.
It was a terrible free kick. It wasn't even waist height. You know, he's not going to get it over the wall. There, you understand, you know, if he hits it over and it's coming down, you understand, but you have to beat the wall without any real power as well. It was, yeah, I'm surprised how poor it was from Piroe there.
And so Leeds United are still lacking that killer moment, that killer touch in front of goal. Bogle down the right hand side, dead ball line, he crosses, intercepted by Lindsay. Poor delivery from Bogle. Nothing on it, and Lindsay smuggles the ball up towards Osmaic. He's being fouled by Roden. It's a Preston free kick, and with every decision that goes by, the Preston North End fans are getting more and more involved in the game. Osmaic has gone down and is rolling around now, and now they're chanting off the Preston fans at Roden. It's certainly not going to be a red card.
Well, that's what you want. Osmaic has been a complete handful. Ball came up, took a good touch, just waited for the contact from Roden and goes down. It is a free kick, but excellent defending again. Liam Lindsay, he believes, he understands Brad Potts and Jordan Storey have followed the runners, and he gets himself in a position from the cutback from Bogle. He actually just takes his touch and then plays out. It's fantastic defending.
But it is fascinatingly poised now, and the way the game is going, the pattern of play, you feel that it will really encourage Preston North End, because the crowd are starting to increasingly play their part. Preston North End 1, Leeds United 0, and Roden was booked for that challenge on Osmaic.
I just think Paul Heckingbottom has to have a think about Whiteman on a yellow card, probably on a last warning as well for the challenge that he's made. You know, you need all your players to kind of put this plan of action, how they're playing. You know, they need everyone out there. They can't lose their captain to a silly second yellow card.
Ball is bouncing on the edge of the Leeds United penalty area. Ali McCann takes up possession. That's a great ball down the left towards Brady. Excellently timed sliding challenge by the big defender Roden to get it away for Leeds. In fact, it was actually James who was booked a few moments ago, not Roden. James yellow carded. So it's been a busy few minutes for the on-field referee here, John Busby. And now Brady having words with the referee. And Osmaic is just the kind of player who can talk himself into trouble, but he can also bring his opponents into play as well, Chris Iwelumo. That's the kind of player that he is.
Yeah, he's very lively, isn't he? You know, I think you don't know what you're going to get, but I've got to say I've been very impressed. Worked very, very hard for the team, taking responsibility, dropping in, but then having that awareness and intelligence. Look at this now, just chasing the ball.
He's chasing Roden down, back to Meslier, not a good back pass. Mesliers' first time left-footed clearance, high up into the overcast sky. Then Roden is backed into by Will Keane. That'll be a free kick to Leeds United on the edge of their box. So Leeds will stay second in the Championship. As it stands, they would be a point behind Sheffield United, who host Plymouth later. Elsewhere in the Championship, this lunchtime, it is still Coventry 0, Hull 0, Lampard against Sellers, live on Talksport 2, Bristol City 0, QPR 0, the latest score in the Championship as well. QPR unbeaten in 5, just one win in 5 for Bristol City. Preston North End have been outstanding so far. 1-0 up, long ball downfield towards Osmaic again, and Roden not happy with the challenge from Osmaic. There are words between the two, and Osmaic, arms outstretched as if to say, what did I do? I think he might have left a foot in there on Joe Roden.
Joe, it's accidental. He's lost his foot in there and he's slipped, and he's went in the back of Joe Roden there. I understand that he's chasing everything, but he did lose his footing.
Leeds are rattled here, Chris.
They are, and the thing is, the Preston players are feeding off this environment as well. It got a little bit placid, didn't it? But now the home fans they're being very, very vocal, and the players are buying into it. They're winning their aerial duels, they're picking up the second balls, and I'm expecting some harsh words from Daniel Farker and the leaders in this Leeds squad.
3 minutes of the first half to go, plus added time. Preston 1, Leeds 0, and if not full of great quality at times this match, although the goal was a fantastic counter-attack, this is the Championship at its combative best, and that's part of why we love it on the Talksport network, live and exclusive. Then Bogle goes in with a challenge on Brady on the halfway line. The Preston fans out of their seats all around us, screaming at the referee. Every challenge that comes in now being contested in equal measure by both sides. Brady's gone down. That'll be a free kick to Preston just shy of the halfway line. I don't think there was much in that challenge realistically.
Well, there's been a couple. He's Bogle on Brady as well. I think he's come through him a few times. He's won the ball, but it's that kind of action of he's kicking through the ball as well, and that foot's coming up, and it's taken, I'll say, Robbie Brady out a few times. So yeah, again, it's as a free kick. The referee has to take a little bit more control of this game.
Coventry City 0, Hull City 1, live on Talksport 2 right now in the Championship. João Pedro has got the goal. Ruben Sellers' second game in charge of Hull City, who start the day bottom of the Championship, but of course will move off the foot of the table and out of the relegation zone as it stands. And Frank Lampard has had a mixed start to life as Coventry boss. A win, a draw and a defeat, and his team are a goal down live on Talksport 2. If you want commentary of that game, just download our free app and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Arsenal against Everton at 3 on Talksport 2. We'll be around the grounds here on Talksport from 2:30. Adrian alongside Troy Deeney, Robert Huth and Mickey Gray, and a full check on all of the classified results at 5 o'clock. 1-0 to Preston here against Leeds United as we head towards the final few seconds of normal time at the end of the first half. Brady has had to go off temporarily. He'll come back on in a moment. Free kick for Preston, long from Lindsay, header away by Bogle. Now Osmajic holds the ball up, well, half holds it up and then bundles over Bogle. Free kick Leeds in their right back position, but Leeds, I'm sure Daniel Farker was expecting this kind of game. They know they're in for a game, that's for sure now, Chris Iwelumo.
No, they are. I think they've used the ball well, kind of falling short of ideas in that attacking third. It's just down to how many bodies Preston have, but they still have to manipulate. They have to create a situation. They're moving the ball. I need a little bit more from Perot. He's very central, not presenting himself. Aronson's doing a lot of the work around about him, but no real qualities coming in from those wide areas.
2 added minutes in the first half. Leeds with an abundance of talent, of course, on the bench should they need it, and they may well need it. Leeds in yellow with blue trim, playing from right to left. Nonto spinning away from Whiteman into a central area. Whiteman can't really make a tackle because he's on a yellow card. Nonto has given it away straight to Brady, who's back on, by the way. High ball up towards Majic. Chests it down for Keane. Here they come on the counter again. Preston North End. Keane is robbed of possession on halfway. Rothwell, Tanaka and Byron between them. Now Aronson skips away from Potts. He's out on the left-hand side. About 20 rows of seats down below us. Piru infield to Nonto with his back to goal. Holds it up neatly. Finds Aronson. Aronson delivers right-footed towards James. Turned away and behind by Kesler Hayden. Leeds United corner in first half stoppage time, 2 added.
Much better from Leeds Aronson. It's an excellent ball. Kesler Hayden has to make the defensive clearance there. Dan James is just trying to get across. All the pace was on the cross. All it needed was a touch. But that's what this game's going to take. The likes of a Nonto, a Dan James, to get at players, pull players out of position to create space for others.
Rothwell is forward, so too Strout for Leeds United. And Rothwell's corner into the near post, headed away by Frockyard. Nowhere near Roden or Strout. It's come back out to Rothwell on the near side. Leeds have lacked quality in the final third in the first half so far. Last 30 seconds of added time. Dinked in by Dan James to the back post, and the header is wide from a very promising position. Byron was up there and he couldn't direct it on target. That should do it for the first half, Chris Owelamo.
Yeah, it was a free header. I've got to say, he's looking at excellent bit of quality from Dan James. Just manipulates the ball onto his right. It's actually Rodon with a header there, but he's completely in free space and he has to do better. I don't understand why he's got himself under it. He has to make sure it goes towards goal.
Precious little for Leeds United supporters to get excited about in the first half. Boos from the away end, but a standing ovation from the home fans for the Preston players. Preston North End have been outstanding in that first half, and Paul Heckingbottom has so far masterminded something of a tactical masterclass against a team which he used to manage. The only goal of the game so far coming midway through the first period. Brad Potts on the end of Milutin Osmajic's right wing cross. It was a fabulous counter-attack, though the Leeds goalkeeper Ilan Melia, you feel, should have done better. At the other end, Leeds have rarely threatened, lacking that refinement in their attacking play, despite being so effective in front of goal throughout the championship season so far. They haven't actually tested the Preston goalkeeper Freddie Woodman at all, and Leeds, who have lost 2 of their last 3 away league matches coming into today, could be set for a defeat that would leave them missing out on the chance to go back top of the championship. Half-time at Deepdale on Talksport, and isn't this fascinatingly poised? Preston North End 1, Leeds United 0.
Well, that character being top of the table with just a draw for Leeds United hasn't worked. And Chris Owelamo, let's go back to the stats that we gave before the game. Leeds, highest possession in the championship, second highest XG, most big chances, most shots on target per game, top scorers in the division, and they've been useless going forward. They've been terrible. Brendan Aronson spooning one into oblivion was amazing. Summed Leeds up in an attacking sense in that first half. How has this brilliant attacking side been so bad going forward for 45 minutes?
Well, I think you have to give a lot of credit to Paul Heckingbottom's Preston. I think they've got in the faces, they've been organised, they've nullified, they've stopped the cross from coming in. There are a lot of bodies in those central areas, Adrian, as well. But I agree with you. I think Leeds have still had opportunities where they can. That decision has to be better. That moment of quality. Aronson there, it was a great little touch from Perot. He finds himself going towards Woodman's goal. He has to release the shot a little bit earlier. I don't understand why he's allowing Potts to come back and put him off in that situation, but they've been nowhere near it all across the pitch, and it's down to, I think, Preston are set up really well, breaking the neck with quality. And this is what I said, I think you can nullify the threat of Leeds, but then you have to be brave enough to bring a threat of your own to the game, and they've done exactly that. I think you're looking at Osmajic and Frankie and obviously Will Keane. They've been selfless, they've dropped in, they've nullified that threat, they've got on the back of Tanaka and Rothwell every opportunity, but then when they can play, Osmajic, what an outlet he's been a willing runner, chasing everything. What a ball for the Potts goal. Did you see the 4 breaking their neck to get in the box? Off the break itself, it was outstanding. The ball was perfect, and then Potts, like you say, just the connection. He's just made sure he's hit the target, and I've got to say Melee has to do better. I think he's got 2 hands onto it, and it's into the bottom right hand corner. There is a question there about his goalkeeping.
Oh, absolutely. It's 2 weak hands.
Yeah,
he gets on it. The other big talking point, Ben Whiteman. I think in the Premier League he gets a second yellow and goes, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at John Busby. John Busby wasn't going to give the free kick at all. Then Bogle has a couple of rolls, and then he's called it back. I called it in commentary. As soon as Whiteman's one of those players, he took a silly yellow when Aronson got round the back of him. He just clipped the heels. He can't do that. He's that type of player that will throw himself into challenges. That's why he's in there. He's a leader. He's the aggressor. He's a very, very lucky boy that he's still on the pitch, and I'll be surprised if he walks out. I understand it because he is that type of player. Paul Heckingbottom needs all players on the pitch. He can't be, you don't win this game if you go down to 10 men. So it's going to be an interesting one, a big call that he's got to make at half time.
Daniel Farke's got to do something different, hasn't he?
Well, he has. You're looking at it, you're thinking about the quality that he has. They've seen a lot of the ball without really testing Woodman at all. It's been so disappointing. Nonto and Dan James have switched over. I expect more from Bogle and Byram, but again, they've had that much of the ball that they find themselves in underlap. They find themselves in the edge of the 18-yard box. There's too many there's too many bodies there. If anything, try and create those overloads in the wide areas. Try and get crosses in, or just not even crosses in, whips between the last defender and goalkeeper, cutbacks to the edge of the box. They need a little bit more. Tanaka's seen so much of the ball, but it's all central, not really troubling Preston. So you're looking at what Leeds can do. You know, they've got quality there, but the likes of Mateo Joseph, is it the right game from him? You know, Joe Perreault is one of those players, a number 10 that finds those little pockets, the little touches round the corner, the one from Aronson in the first half. So he has players that can come on and make it. But the identity is the exact same, the game plan is the exact same, and this is what we've had that discussion in the past. Daniel Farker, one-dimensional Leeds. What player comes on and does something different? It's a hard one.
Somebody needs to do something. Chris will be back with you deep down for the second half. Preston 1, Leeds 0 at half-time. Elsewhere on Talksport 2, Coventry 0, Hull City 1, João Pedro for Ruben Sellers' side just before the break, and Bristol City 0, QPR 0 at half-time. In League 1, Bolton 0, Wigan 1, Dale Taylor with the only goal, Orient goalless with Burton at half-time. In League 2, Salford lead Notts County 2-0. County have just lost 4. McLeany and Stockton with the goals. And I said Tranmere Harrogate would be 0-0. It's 1-1. James Daly putting Harrogate in front, and Christian Dennis with the equaliser for Tranmere Rovers. And what about this scoreline in Women's Super League? Missy Goodwin has given Leicester the lead against Chelsea, and there's more than an hour gone. Chelsea 100% under Sonia Bonpastor. That's Leicester, second bottom at the start of the day, 1. The leaders, Chelsea 0. But live on Talksport, Preston lead Leeds. Paul Heckingbottom had 4 months at Leeds United. He'll be loving this at half-time, live on Talksport.
With Lidl Plus, you get tongue-tingling fizz. So let's all raise a glass to the best in the biz. A Lini Prosecco now just $4.75 on Lidl Plus. Now that's a deal worth toasting. Have a magical Christmas with Lidl. 18 plus, subject to availability. Excludes Scotland. Offer ends 1st of January. Terms apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
Bet Builder on Man City v Man United. Paddy Power. Be much online bet builder bets only. Win 4 legs plus. But to previously deposited to avail. Max free bet varies from £1 to £25 per customer. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Access to premium sports betting insights just got easier with Sporting Life Plus, and it's all completely free. Join today for exclusive insights from Willie Mullins, unlimited replays of all UK and Irish races, and track your favourite horses, jockeys and trainers with Sporting Life's My Stable Tracker. Plus, get early access to premium articles and expert tips. Sporting Life Plus, unmissable content delivered daily, all completely free. Search Sporting Life Plus to find out more.
Julie could part exchange her car. Or check out We Buy Any Car. She could be unsure if she got a good deal part exchanging. Or have cash in the bank with more bargaining power to get a bigger car for her five-a-side team. Totally played. Or total player. To get a quote in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com. Admin fee may apply. For more information, visit WeBuyAnyCar.com/info.
If you drink a little then drive, you risk losing your licence. You risk losing your freedom. Guess the road trip's off. You risk losing your job.
I'm going to have to let you go. I'm sorry. The road trip's sorry.
You risk your parents not looking at you the same way.
I'm just really upset.
I'm going to have to let you go.
You risk injuring a friend.
Hello? I need an ambulance. I need an ambulance.
Sorry.
You risk being seen as a drink driver. Drink a little, risk a lot. Think.
We're reaching a dramatic climax to the festive season. She's checked out the Christmas tree formation. The kids' presents are there. But where's the husband's gift? Is there still time? She's looking at skullshaver.co.uk. Will it be the silver, the platinum, or the gold Skullshaver Pitbull Pro? He wants a close shave, and let me tell you, it doesn't get closer. She strikes, and yes, she's back to winner. Maybe he'll buy her a Skullshaver Butterfly Pro and make her feel like a lioness. Get to skullshaver.co.uk today.
NFL fans, there's a new way to watch your favourite teams.
Feliz Navidad.
What a day for football, baby!
On December the 25th at 5 p.m. GMT, the Christmas games will stream live on Netflix.
And it's good!
Your Christmas day will be complete with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens versus Houston Texans, live on Netflix. You won't want to miss it.
At Betfair, we're here for those who look at football differently.
Those who notice when the team of Galacticos, with a packed European and domestic schedule, might be about to underestimate the well-rested, well-drilled mid-table team. Build the bet you want with a completely free ACCA or bet builder on football this weekend. Betfair. Play different.
Opt-in and previous deposit required. Max free bet varies from £1 to £10 per customer. Minimum odds of 1.5 on minimum one leg. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Hard-hitting football coverage.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave. On DAB, online and on your smart speaker.
EFL Game Day exclusive.
On Talksport.
Live at Molineux, where Ipswich have arrived. Calvin Phillips possibly should be in the Man City side replacing Rodri, had it all worked out the way it should be, but he's here with Ipswich Town as they face Wolves this afternoon. 1 of 4 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. Arsenal take on Everton, Liverpool, Fulham, the leaders are in action. Newcastle take on Leicester. We've got Robert Huth, 3-time Premier League winner, at that game on Talksport a bit later on. And Wolves against Ipswich. There's a brilliant new sculpture outside Molineux to mark the anniversary of the floodlit friendly when Wolves beat Hungarian giants Honvéd here in 1954. Stan Cullis, the manager, Billy Wright, the captain. The golden kits were silky, shimmered under the lights. The players hated them. Wolves were crowned champions of the world unofficially, and the game helped lead to the European Cup, which is now the Champions League. Big history then at this club, but the fans are worried about the present and the future. Wolves in the bottom 3, 4 points off safety, 3 straight defeats, conceding 10, and Nelson Semedo has now replaced Mario Lemina as captain after all the fuss last weekend. Here's manager Gary O'Neill.
You know, we decided to move the captaincy to Nelson, so Nelson will captain the group from now on. But yeah, as I say, discussions were good. You know, like these things, sometimes they can be tough to deal with, and sometimes you can come out of them in a really good spot, and I feel like we have. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for Mario and what he's still going to be able to do for us, as well as what he's done for us before. And you know, when we get the best out of him on the pitch, his level is so high that he's still going to play a very, very big part for us, which he's still extremely keen to do. And he'll still be around that group of senior players that lead the team. But at this moment, we feel it's best for Nelson to lead the group.
Well, Mickey Gray, former Wolves man, is alongside me here at Molineux. Were you surprised that Lemina got stripped to the captaincy, and what does that do to a dressing room?
No, not at all, Adrian. I wasn't, because all right, you know, you can have a go at somebody who you're playing against, but I think when it's your coach who's trying to pull you away from the trouble and help you out, and you start shoving him around, then, you know, if you let him get away with that, you lose all respect in the dressing room. And I think the players might have been able to take advantage of that. So I look at it, I think it was the right decision. And look, it might free Lemina up, because I think he's a wonderful player. I think he's got great talent. And sometimes just wearing that captain's armband, albeit it's not as important as, I suppose, rugby and cricket, it can be in a dressing room when you've got to be that leader. And I think if he doesn't have to be that now for the rest of the season, we might see the best of him.
That's at 3 o'clock here at Molineux. Wolves, Ipswich. There's a game at 5:30 as well. Let's look ahead to the late game in the Premier League with Sky Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract, on now. Like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa, live today. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, through our internet, terms apply.
Now that late game, 5:30, Forest against Villa, and here's a stat, Mickey. Forest 12 points better off than this stage last season. Villa 7 points worse off at this stage than they were last season.
Yeah, Nuno Santo has been absolutely fantastic, hasn't he? I think what a turnaround. He's an organiser. I think we saw that actually when he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. He brought them European football, a completely different team this time around. Look, organised. I've done their last 2 games, Man City and Man United. Changed it to a 5 in the second half against Man City. I think it helped them a little bit, albeit they didn't get nothing from the game, but thoroughly deserved to beat Manchester United. It was a bit of a scrappy game, but they were just more clinical. You know, set pieces, which we've talked about over the last 3 or 4 weeks because of Arsenal, etc. They made them count, and if you can make them count, you can go and play the style of football that they actually play in the final third. I think they've got some excellent players. They're going to do really well for us.
Villa after Europe is an interesting one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they've only won one of the games, which was the first game after the Champions League when they beat Young Boys. They went on to beat Wolves again. Sorry to keep mentioning them, but they won that game. But they've drawn a couple and they've lost a couple as well. So this could be an opportunity for Nottingham Forest.
It could. Forest Villa is at 5:30. That was a look at this weekend's Premier League action. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Forest Villa, live today. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract, on now. Like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa, live today. Search Now Sports, 18+, stream via internet, terms apply.
And of course, we'll keep you in touch with all the goals as they go in this afternoon from the lunchtime games, and then a bit later on after 3 o'clock, we will bring you the goals as they go in. We will take you around the grounds on Talksport. At 3 o'clock, Arsenal-Everton is live and exclusive on Talksport 2. That's not on your telly. And tomorrow, Sunday session with Sam Matterface from 1:30, live from the Manchester derby. We'll keep you in touch with all the football that's going on. Brilliant show. Takes you right through till 7 when we've got commentary of Southampton Spurs on Talksport and commentary of Chelsea-Brentford on Talksport 2. And there's more Championship action tomorrow as well. Norwich-Burnley at 3 o'clock is live and exclusive on Talksport 2. And we've got Championship action this lunchtime. Coventry 0, Hull 1 is live on Talksport 2. Second half coming up. And second half coming up at Deepdale, where it's Preston 1, Leeds 0 on Talksport. Here's Chris Owellamo and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Adrian. And there'll be a half-time change for Preston North End. It's the one we would have expected. Stefan Tordarson onto the field in place of Ben Whiteman, who, you have to say, was very lucky to remain on the pitch, having been booked for one foul, then moments later with a lunging challenge on Jayden Bogle that went unpunished by the referee. And Paul Heckingbottom has acted, I think, to protect the player on a yellow card. Off goes Whiteman, and on comes Tordarson for the second half. And so far, so good for Preston North End. They lead Leeds United by a 1-0. And really ironic that the former Leeds head coach Heckingbottom will do another of his old clubs, Sheffield United, a big favour today if Preston can take all 3 points. As it stands, Leeds will miss out on the chance to go top of the Championship ahead of the rest of the afternoon's fixtures. They only need a draw to do that as Preston get the second half underway. From right to left in the second period towards the away end where the Leeds fans are, Preston in white and dark blue. Lovely little touches at the start of the second period as the ball goes out to the right-hand side and Frockyar, he is actually offside. Leeds United playing from left to right in yellow with blue trim. Their last 2 away league defeats have come by a single goal. In fact, all 3 league defeats on the road this season by 1-0. 1-0 at Blackburn, 1-0 at Millwall and 1-0 at home to Burnley. They are rarely beaten, Leeds United, but they are behind today. Early ball up the near side, the Leeds right towards Piru. He can't keep it in play. It's a Preston throw. They have Woodman in goal, Potts, Story, Lindsay and Kessler Hayden, Frockyar, Tordarson, McCann and Brady. Keane in support of Osmajic. And for Leeds, no half-time changes, which might be a surprise. Meslier in goal, Bogle, Roden, Strouk and Byram, Tanaka and Rothwell, James, Aronson and Nonto behind Piru up front. The floodlights are on here even for a lunchtime kick-off at Deepdale, and the sky is still very cloudy. Lots of supporters still retaking their seats early in the second half as we watch from just to the left of the halfway line. And Leeds United give it away through Tanaka. The goal scorer Potts there to win it back for Preston North End, and he looks to get on the end of the reverse ball down the inside right by Frockyar. Strouk there to send it back to the goalkeeper. Preston 1, Leeds 0. Here's Chris Owellamo.
Well, I've got to say, I don't think anything changes with Stefan Tordarson coming on. Very big fan, I think very similar player to Whiteman. He's got that physicality, he'll win his aerial duels, but he's very, very mobile, covers a lot of distance as well, and really nice on the eye. I think he's a very, very good ball player as well, so that's important.
And it's key for Preston North End that they keep 11 on the field, and I think that was the concern for Paul Heckingbottom, that they wouldn't do so if Whiteman had stayed on. Leeds United trying to find an equaliser. They had 2 efforts in the first half, Leeds of note. Aronson from a tight angle over the top, and Byram with a free header that he couldn't direct on target. Chelsea women have an equaliser late on away at Leicester in the WSL. Leicester 1, Chelsea 1 is a latest score. Chelsea top of the table. Here is James infield for Leeds United, given away to Tor Darson, who's there to win it back, the tall and slender Icelander. That's a good ball to the right, and Frockyard. This is where Preston are dangerous on the counter. Frockyard's ball down the middle, and then Bogle coming across from right back can only divert it behind into the away end, and it's a Preston North End corner. They lead 1-0, live and exclusive to national radio right here on Talksport.
Yeah, again, you're looking at Todderson doing his job, winning the ball back, but then having that quality as well to find Frockyard down that right hand side. Not a bad ball across. I think Jayden Bogle has to do better though. You know, I think he's got to be aware of his space, that he's got time to take a touch, even go back to Melia. He can turn as well there. He just puts his foot through it and gives Preston a corner kick. But again, Preston have started better.
Lots of height and aerial ability in this Preston side, and they are crowding the Leeds United goalkeeper Melia. Plenty of white Preston shirts in that 6-yard box. Leeds in the change kit of all yellow today. Robbie Brady will take the corner. This will be left-footed in swinging, and I would think right on top of the goalkeeper. Here it comes, high towards goal, punched away by Melia. He did well, albeit he was being backed into, and that'll be a free kick to Leeds United. But quite clearly the strategy is to target the Leeds number 1, who arguably actually, Chris, was in some way at fault for the opening goal.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I think he got 2 hands behind it. Has to be stronger, but they are good connection. Robbie Brady, the ball right on top of him as well, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to disrupt him, get the players around him, see if he's got that physicality to come and be as aggressive on his front foot.
Really is game on here, and a big task ahead for Leeds United. A draw takes them top of the Championship, ahead of Sheffield United on goal difference, but they haven't forced Freddie Woodman, the Preston goalkeeper, into a meaningful save as yet. And as it stands, Sheffield United would have the chance to go 4 points clear when they play Plymouth later at Bramall Lane. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in with Adrian Durham and the team here on Talksport. A full classified check at 5 o'clock. Here is Byram for Leeds, out to the left, and Nonto dinks it into Rothwell, got a glancing touch on it, couldn't bring it under control, smuggled away by Liam Lindsay at the heart of the Preston back line, and Leeds have got a throw down by the corner flag on the far side, the left, and Leeds are attacking the home end in the second half. The Alan Kelly town end after the Preston legend, the former goalkeeper Alan Kelly. Throw to Tanaka now, again down by the corner flag, little space to work with. He's converged upon by both Keane and Potts, who gets a firm but fair challenge in. It's another Leeds throw, they're 1-0 down.
Yeah, working very, very hard without the ball, Preston. This is what Leeds have to do to try and get something. The likes of Rothwell has to go in those advanced areas as well. You know, beside Dan James, Nonto's a little bit more central now. You know, but they're still moving the ball not quick enough, allowing the likes of Will Keane. Look, why is Will Keane there helping Potts out? It just shows you.
They work hard for each other,
but that's what you have to do. You know, and then in that transition, I think they've shown that real good quality that they can play through the thirds as well and play counter-attack football as where the goal came from.
Preston have shown great spirit despite 5 changes today. They lead 1-0. 6 minutes into the second half. The 2 benches, by the way, for Preston: Cornell, the goalkeeper, Ockles, Ledson, Watmore, Bauer, Holmes, Rees and Bowler. And for Leeds United, plenty of depth: Joseph, Ampadu, Gilavogi, Solomon, Bamford, Ramazani, Verber, Schmidt and Carl Darlow, the substitute goalkeeper. Coventry 0, Hull City 1 it remains. Live over on Talksport 2 right now. You can download our app and swipe to Talksport 2 if you'd like. Bristol City 0, QPR 0 in the Championship, still a latest score. High free kick from Preston North End, punted into the Leeds box, headed away by Roden for Leeds United. Now Bogle scampers forward, near side the right. Roden has stayed forward, and then sliding in is Lindsay. Came off his arm, play continues, it's dropped to James, right wing area. Roden gets a touch on it away from McCann, and then the assistant is flagging for an earlier challenge by Brady on James. Free kick to Leeds, really dangerous area, right wing near side. They need a goal, they're 1-0 down.
Well, there's 3 free kicks there in Leeds' favour. Robbie Brady comes in really, really strong, unbelievable. The thing is, he's swiped for the ball, and he's taken Dan James at the round about the kind of knee area. It's a high challenge.
Is the referee struggling to control this game at times?
Well, he's brought the yellow card out. You know, I think he's under a little bit of pressure now. He's shown the yellow cards to, like, say, Farker. I think was it Stuart McCall? Was it in the end?
It looked like Stuart McCall.
But yeah, it's one of them. He has to get up to speed. It is a free kick, but the challenges are going in, so I think he has to come in strong and take a little bit more control of the situation.
Rothwell will take this free kick for Leeds United. And Preston fans on their feet behind the goal. Rothwell stands over the ball, and Preston have brought everybody back in white to defend this free kick. And Preston leading by a 1-0. Rothwell's delivery, right-footed into the 6-yard box, headed up into the air by Lindsay. Good height and distance on that clearance. Back in by James. Lindsay gets it away again. Only as far as Tanaka down the Leeds United left. He's held it up in front of Potts. He's let it trickle out of play for a Leeds throw. And the Preston fans behind the goal feel it was their ball. They can't believe it. The referee's going to let play continue anyway. Here is Tanaka down by the dead ball line. Back to Byram. Immediately under pressure from McCann. Tanaka seizes upon the loose ball. Turns away from Frockyard. They're doubling up on Tanaka now. It feels like they're doubling up on every Leeds player. Such great strength and great work rate on and off the ball, Preston North End, but particularly off it in the face of a lot of Leeds possession. And that's actually gone out of play for a goal kick. Remember, this is a Preston team with just 4 league wins coming into the game today.
Yeah, well, like you say, they've unbeaten in 5, isn't it? You know, I think the confidence is there. So you're looking at they're working very, very hard. Alice McCann, they're getting into that right back position, helping Potts out with Tanaka. And this is what you have to do: be switched on, be selfless, work hard for the team, but then be brave and composed in possession as well. And I think they're ticking that box. Paul Heckingbottom will be delighted, really nullifying this Leeds side.
Aronson trying to poke it through the middle, and Joel Piru with an early shot, and it's straight into the chest of the goalkeeper. Took it early from the edge of the penalty area, and he actually tried to curl it near post instead of bending it towards the far, and that made it an easy save for Woodman. But that is Leeds' first meaningful effort on target in the game, and it's come 55 minutes in.
Well, when you look at the player like Perot coming onto that, there's just no conviction there. Put the laces through it. He has that quality that he can really trouble Woodman.
Nonto down the Leeds left. He burst into the box, cleared away by Lindsay. Tanaka with the shot, turned away. It's dropped down to Bogle, right edge of the penalty area. Again, he gets to the dead ball line. He dinks it in high, headed away by Story. Rothwell over the bar. Big chance for Leeds United. Out Tanaka, not scored in English football, running onto it, 12 yards out, hit the legs of a defender and rebounded away.
Yeah, a lot of bodies, wasn't there? You know, fantastic play from Nonto to get the ball across. Then it's round about the penalty spot. Tanaka's coming onto it. He's got a lot to do. He just goes for power. I think you have to do that. It can go anywhere. It does come off the defender's legs there, and then obviously Bogle picks up the second ball, but defending well, throwing their bodies in front of everything. But they'll be disappointed that Willie Nonto's had that freedom to get in behind on that right hand side.
It does feel like Leeds are working their way back into the game, and that could be ominous for Preston North End, who still have that slender advantage. Coventry 1, Hull 1 in the Championship, live right now over on Talksport 2. Efren Mason-Clark with the equaliser for Frank Lampard's Coventry. In Ruben Sellers' second game in charge of Hull City. We'll get you Premier League team news shortly. We'll go around the grounds. Remember, Arsenal against Everton is our 3 o'clock commentary over on Talksport 2 today. One of 50 live matches in December. And it's worth telling you that we've got all 10 Premier League matches on Boxing Day, live and only on the Talksport network. And tomorrow, Southampton against Spurs and Chelsea against Brentford. Bournemouth against West Ham on Monday night. All the football all of the time with Talksport. Leeds 1-0 down. Nonto skins McCann. Gets into the area. Jinks away from Potts. Onto the right foot. Brilliant run. Firm shot is blocked by McCann, who recovered just in time. Preston sitting ever deeper. Leeds United playing from left to right, dominating territory and possession. Can they find the equaliser? Dan James with a low effort from 30 yards. That skids along the surface and is steered away. And in the end, Strauch has to go all the way back to Leeds goalkeeper Ilan Meslier. It is building, though, isn't it, Chris Owelamo, former Scotland striker, alongside me?
Yeah, they're getting a little bit more joy in that attacking third. But again, Preston are getting asked a few questions defensively, and they've had the answers so far. Just have to make sure. But and in fairness, as soon as that ball goes back to Meslier from Struijk as well there, how quickly the defensive line's up and the midfield line's pushing on, allowing that attacking line to go and put a little bit of pressure on the goalkeeper there. So no, they're switched on. I think they're really, really up for this, but they're showing the quality with and without the ball, Preston, today.
Paul Heckingbottom pacing up and down inside the technical area. The former Leeds United head coach, who only had 4 months in charge of the club in 2018 under a far more tumultuous time, really, in Leeds United's history. But is he going to mastermind something special against his old team today? Is he going to stop Leeds from going back top of the division? Free kick to Leeds on the halfway line. And Osmajic pleading his innocence up against Byram, and he gets a yellow card from the referee. Let's bring you Premier League team news, starting at St James's Park, Newcastle against Leicester. Here's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, 3 changes for both sides. Pope, Longstaff and Barnes drop out for Newcastle. Dubravka, Tonali and Gordon come in for the visitors. And Ndidi, Samari and Ayo drop out. In comes Skip, Chowdhury and Mavididi. 3 o'clock at St James's Park for Newcastle against Leicester.
Thank you, Mark. Salford 3, Notts County 0 is the latest score in League 2. Notts County could have got into the playoffs with a win today in League 2, but they are 3-0 down to Salford. Here is Joe Roden, mud on the back of his yellow Leeds United shirt. Bristol City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Scott Twine. So QPR behind, defending a 5-game unbeaten run today at Ashton Gate. But it's Bristol City who've been out of form who take the lead in the Championship. Clearance away by Woodman, the Preston goalkeeper. Headed down by Bogle, into the path of Aronson. Inside right channel, into the area, tucks it across. Great interception by Lindsay. Nonto throws his arms up into the air. He knew that either he or Piru had a tap in at the back post. Lindsay's touch crucial. Leeds United corner.
Well, it's excellent defending from Lindsay, but I've got to say Aronson has to be a better ball. He has to fire it across, find Piru or Nonto earlier than that. He had a lot of room for error as well, but just when he took that extra touch, or that extra bit of time, Lindsay was in position and threw himself at it. Fantastic defending.
Well, Strauch and Roden both forward again here for Leeds United. Strauch has gone to the back post. Rothwell will take the corner. Right-footed out, swinging to the edge of the 6-yard box. Good header away by Kesler Hayden this time. Excellent defending from Preston North End from set pieces so far.
Well, how many times has he done that today, Kesler Hayden? Got himself read the danger on his front foot, anticipates it, the flight of the ball, but he makes sure it's a Preston contact first when it comes into the box. It's outstanding defending. Wasn't a bad ball at all from Rothwell.
He's an Aston Villa youngster, Kane Kesler Hayden, on loan from Villa at Preston North End. Had several loans away in his time in Birmingham, and really proving his worth defensively once again there. Leeds United have got possession on the near side with James, who darts in field away from Kesler Hayden this time. He's surged into opposition territory. He's got Aronson to the right. He pushes it on to Aronson. He's sprinting across to try and keep it in play. He has done down by the corner flag. That's held up the move slightly. James led with the edge of the penalty area. Scampers in field onto the left foot. The reverse ball is blocked off by Story and then hammered over the halfway line by Robbie Brady away from danger. Team news at the Emirates ahead of our 3 o'clock commentary on Talksport 2. Arsenal-Everton. Here's Ian Danter.
3 changes for Arsenal from the win against Monaco in midweek, and Miles Lewis-Skelly will make his first Premier League start for the Gunners. He's kept in the team. Gabriel and Havertz and Timber are in. Partey, Kivior and Jesus are the players dropping out. Just 1 change for Everton from the 4-0 win against Wolves, their last time out, and that sees Harrison come in for the injured McNeil. At Emirates Stadium, it'll be live on TalkSport 2, and Arsenal take on Everton.
Yeah, big game coming up, live and exclusive with us. Remember to get TalkSport 2. You've just got to download our free app, and then you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Double change coming up for Preston, so let's go to Anfield now on TalkSport. Get team news from there with Matt Jones.
Alisson makes his first Premier League start in over 2 months as Arne Slot makes 1 change from the side that beat Girona in midweek. Gakpo is back in place and Nunes, while Jota is back on the bench as well after injury. As for Fulham, Bassi suspended, so Cuenca is his replacement, while Wilson and Pereira come in for Smith Rowe and Traore. It's Liverpool v Fulham from 3.
So the changes for Preston North End that are being made. They lead 1-0 against Leeds. Just over an hour gone. You can see why they're making the changes at this point. Brady and Will Keane, who's been relatively ineffective, have gone off. And on come Dwayne Holmes, the very experienced American at this level. He's a key squad member at Preston, barely misses a game. And Emil Rison to partner Osmajic up front. So there is a double threat now for Leeds to think about on the counter. Good ball over the halfway line by Tor Darson for Preston. To the right and Potts. 3 in the middle. Here's Frockyar back to goal. Spinning, turning, digging it in. Rees with the header. His first touch having just come on. A glancing effort from the edge of the 6-yard box. Dare I say it, should have done better. Straight at the goalkeeper.
Has to be in the back of the net. Excellent bit of quality. You know, Potts down that right hand side, little cut back to Frockyar. What a ball it is to pick Emil Rees out. Free header, knows where the goal is. Yeah, look, he probably has to generate a little bit more power, but probably got too much of a contact straight at Melia there. First touch of the ball. Now, this is what he brings. You know, he's a threat. He has to be in the back of the net. Free header, 3 yards, 4 yards from goal, central.
Well, that might have been enough to kill off the game, maybe,
even with Leeds' potent attacking threat, and Leeds still sitting second in the Championship as it stands. They'll be a point behind Sheffield United going into the rest of the afternoon's football. There's a big game in the Premier League. Relegation battle to come at 3. Wolves against Ipswich. There for Talksport with the team news. Here's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, just a one change for Gary O'Neill's Wolves after their latest defeat to West Ham on Monday. João Gomez is suspended. He's replaced by Bellegarde. 3 changes for Ipswich after their latest defeat to Bournemouth. Johnson, Taylor and Smodits miss out. In come Harry Clark, Kajust and Burns. From Molineux, it's Wolves against Ipswich.
Well, Tanaka's just limped to his feet on the halfway line for Leeds. I don't know whether he's about to come off, but Leeds are certainly full of activity on the far side touchline. The invincible stand side of the ground, that single-tiered stand. Daniel Farke giving instructions, changes on the way. Out on the left for Leeds, the far side is Byram to cross, and it's James and Lonto going for the same ball. It's gone wide, but the flag is up. The lime green flag into the air on the near side, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. And this is a double change for Leeds United. Off goes Willie Gnonto, who again has had a frustrating time of it, I think more than anything. And Aronson is the other player to leave the field. And it's Patrick Bamford and Lagi Ramazani who are the 2 to come on, Chris Willemo.
Yeah, lively. I think Patrick Bamford gives you more of that outlet, you know, when they're in wide areas. He's a target. He'll win his majority of aerial duels as well. Ramazani, a player I like, you know, very, very raw, but he's very direct. He'll get at his players, create space for others as well. He has end product. He'll drift inside and bounce it off the likes of Bamford and go and get it again. That's what needed, but they needed an outlet. They've been in fantastic positions in wide areas, but they don't have that presence in the box that they can deliver to.
QPR got an equaliser away at Bristol City. Paul Smith with the goal. Tranmere lead Harrogate by 2-1. Amari Patrick completing the comeback for Tranmere Rovers towards the foot of League 2. That's a poor ball out of play by Tor Darson for Preston North End, and Leeds have got a throw. 20 minutes into the second half, and it is Preston 1, Leeds 0. Coventry 1, Hull 1 on Talksport 2 this lunchtime. And Bristol City 1, QPR 1, as I've been saying. In League 1, Bolton 0, Wigan 1, Leyton Orient 0, Burton 0. And in League 2, Tranmere, as you've been hearing, lead Harrogate 2-1. Salford 3, Notts County 0 it remains. Here come Preston. Osmajic blocked off by Roden, who scrambles it clear. Now Bogle over the halfway line. Ball up the middle, steered away by Liam Lindsay. Arsenal against Everton coming up on Talksport 2. Meanwhile, we'll take you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in here on Talksport. It's a great time of the season, the festive period. The only place to be is the Talksport network. Ali McCann on the halfway line. Preston's number 8 does a very steady job, doesn't he, Chris?
Yeah, very good technical player. Player I know very well, of course. St Johnson doing what he does, but he's technically good. He's an organiser on the ball. He covers a lot of distance, but he picks up great positions as well, and he can put in a challenge as well.
Well, the Leeds fans have not ever really fully taken to Daniel Farke, I don't think, and there will be more frustration if they are beaten here and miss the chance to go top. Pirou trying to cross from the left, McCann in the way again, right on cue. And I think he's hit that off the heels of Pirou. That should be a Preston throw in the right back area on the far side of the field as we head towards the midway point of this second half. A second goal for Wigan at Bolton. Bolton 0, Wigan 2. Tello Asgard has got it. Sean Maloney, the Wigan boss, admitted that there is a bit of fan unrest. Wigan have had a poor season so far, but they could be about to move further clear of the relegation zone in League 1 against playoff chasing Bolton. Here is Byram for Leeds. Touches it on to Rothwell, straight out of play. Well, he obviously was tempted to make few changes today. Leeds have been on an excellent run, Daniel Farke's team. But Chris, I tell you what, the way they played today, when it comes to next weekend against Oxford, there could be quite a few Leeds changes.
Yeah, you know, I think when it's going so well, you don't really want to kind of tinker too much. But you've got to put it down to the way that Preston have attacked this match, you know, with and without the ball. Made it very difficult for Leeds, even with all their quality. They've not really created.
And that's an early ball over the top towards Rees, and a good back header by Roden, who was sandwiched in between the two big Preston strikers, two old-fashioned front men. Up the field at the moment for Preston in the shape of Osmajic and Rees.
Leeds have got possession with Strout. Tries to play a ball up the inside left. It's intercepted by Frockyar. Frockyar tears over the halfway line, leaves Rothwell trailing, and the ball towards the left in Kessler-Hayden. Back-heeled away by Bogle. He did very well there, the retreating Leeds right back. But Leeds are struggling to get a grip on the game at the moment. They're struggling to create chances, and they're still 1-0 down.
Yeah, Jayden Bogle there, fantastic defending. Had to nullify the threat. Then Dan James it's like he just couldn't, he never had it in the legs, could he, to knock it back. Had the full half to knock it and run, but marshalled well.
Reverse ball by McCann, hooked high towards the right. Potts' first time cross. That's going to go into the gloves of the goalkeeper. There was an offside flag up anyway. Leeds are on the break. Good advantage played by the referee. Ramazzani with the pace. He's trying to take on Story. Story gets in front of him. Much bigger than Ramazzani. Story, he used his strength there, and he hooks the ball away only as far as Byron. Midway inside the Preston half. Leeds from left to right. So they're attacking the home end in the second half. The away support, which numbers not far off 6,000, trying to roar Leeds United to an equaliser that would take them top. Coventry have missed a penalty, by the way, against Hull in the Championship. Stays 1-1 live on Talksport 2. Bamford, little flick back to the edge of the penalty area now, and a good turn by Pirou. Bogle trying to get through. Kessler-Hayden got there with a very important challenge, almost nipped in front of his goalkeeper there, and then Kessler-Hayden slices the clearance out of play.
Well, Patrick Bamford's having a proper go at Bogle there as well. Took it right off his foot. He's coming in on his left foot, and he's winding up, and then Bogle's taking it off him.
Great ball to James in the area. Dead ball line. He's played it across. Oh my goodness, how has that stayed out? Bamford with the flick, almost on the goal line. It almost looked easier to score than to miss, and it's been turned behind for a goal kick. What a chance for Leeds.
It's a huge opportunity, isn't it? Dan James done ever so well. Just took his time with it, got up. He had to fire it. He put so much pace on it. Bamford's a yard from the goal line, and he makes the contact, but just not enough contact. Anything it should be in the back of the net. Obviously Woodman's taken out with the pass from Dan James there. Huge opportunity.
Well, what an opportunity indeed for Patrick Bamford, who has not scored since April. 20 minutes to go. And maybe at this stage, the way the game has gone, Leeds would be pleased if they were to get a draw. I think Preston, Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall, two very experienced campaigners, having a conversation on the edge of the technical area on the far side. They'll be absolutely gutted if they don't win this, Chris Uellerman.
No, they've been excellent, haven't they? But you can see Leeds getting a little bit more joy in that attacking third. That will be a concern.
Cross from Frockyar is easy for the Leeds goalkeeper Meslier. There'll be questions about Meslier again today after his part in the only goal so far.
Yeah, well, it's one of them. You know, when your team, you're on top, it's a counter attack. You know, it was an excellent ball from Osmajic, but Potts just had to make sure he hit the target. You know, I think he got two hands on it. As a goalkeeper, you need to be parrying that away. But again, you look at Preston now, the body language, tired minds, tired heads, isn't it? You can see that the quality's just dropped a little bit.
Here is Osmajic though. Suddenly it's 2 against 2 on the halfway line. Rees is to his right. He's midway inside the Leeds half. Here's Rees 30 yards out. That's a terrible layoff. Really poor from the substitute. Straight to the feet of Rothwell. They should have made more of that. Rothwell over the top. Chasing is James. Out comes the goalkeeper. Woodman gets there first. And the Preston fans in front of us go from jumping out of their seats to shout at Rees to suddenly applauding their goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, you called it. You know, even Ali McCann's having a proper go at Rees there. He has to take the touch in and get at the like of Struijk in that position 1v1. You know, all you need to do is get yourself in the box, and then you'll be very tentative to get anywhere near you. First time set there from Rees when it wasn't on. It was not on.
Well, Leeds' away form, I think, might be a little bit of a concern. Lost 2 of their last 3, and it could well be 3 from 4 by the end of today. 1-0 at Blackburn, 1-0 at Millwall. The only other defeat Leeds have suffered this season was at Elland Road against Burnley in mid-September. And since then, Leeds have won 8 home league games on the spin, so there's no problems for them on home soil. But there is an issue today. Preston in front, and Leeds have got to throw in front of the Preston dugout on the far side of the field. We'll bring you team news from the games in the Championship, our featured matches, very shortly, including at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United will have the chance to go 4 points clear as it stands. We've got more live football from the Championship for you tomorrow. Norwich against Burnley on Talksport 2. Burnley third in the table at the moment. And live cricket tonight on Talksport 2. England against New Zealand on day 2 of the final test in Hamilton. Here is Kesler Hayden, very composed, the left back, as Chris was alluding to earlier. He's threaded it left too much on that towards Rees. I think Kesler Hayden was hoping for a more dynamic run. Let's get team news then from Bramall Lane. Sheffield United against struggling Plymouth. Here's Talksport's Alan Biggs.
Yeah, 2 Sheffield United changes. A particularly interesting one up front where 18-year-old Ryan Oney makes his first league start in place of midweek match winner Rhian Brewster, who drops to the bench. Also Tom Davis in for the injured Vinny Souza. Wayne Rooney makes 3 Plymouth changes. Hardy, Obafemi and Al Hadj coming into the starting 11. Sheffield United versus Plymouth.
Thank you, Alan. Real pressure on Wayne Rooney, isn't there, after the run of defeats and goals conceded that Plymouth have had. Tanaka for Leeds, 30 yards out, onto the right foot, square to James. James gets the shot in, off the bar! So close for Leeds United. Headed back in by Byram. Now Bamford is spinning. The flag is up, and it's out of play anyway. It's a free kick to Preston North End, but it's also a huge let-off.
That's fantastic effort from Dan James. The technique is outstanding, without much backlift as well. He just kind of pokes it. I don't know if it's with the outside of his right foot, but there's movement on the ball anyway. Woodman was beaten. I'm thinking it's just going to dip into that top left-hand corner, but it comes off the bar. But an excellent effort. And then Bamford, you have to make sure that you're onside if you're going to go and present yourself with the ball. Just slow to react. Anticipate that.
Well, here comes the latest Preston North End change. Milutin Osmajic gets a standing ovation. He set up the only goal with that fantastic counter-attacking run from his own half into Leeds territory, and a brilliant ball for Brad Potts, who's got the only goal of the game so far. Ryan Ledson on in his place. Coventry 2, Hull 1. In the Championship. Jack Redoni has turned that game around. So Coventry, who were a goal behind, lead 2-1, and that drops Hull back to the foot of the division. Live on Talksport 2 right now. Preston 1, Leeds 0 here on Talksport, and there are only 15 minutes to go. But Chris, this is where Leeds often come into their own. They are dangerous in the final 15.
Yeah, they keep going, don't they? It's you know what you're going to get. So I think when you look at this Preston side, they're bringing on fresh legs. They have an understanding of, I guess, the defensive responsibilities that they have to kind of make sure that it has to be better than that anyway.
Given away by Lindsay. James can accelerate away down the right-hand side. Bamford waiting for the cross. The early ball towards Bamford, who might have been offside. Todd Darson wasn't to know it. Turns it behind for a corner.
Yeah, Todderson and Lindsay poor in possession there, allowing it in a Leeds favour, 3v2. Now Dan James, I think he released the ball a little bit early. Can he just take it into the 18-yard box, pull Lindsay out of that position, and then get your head up and pick someone out? But it was an easy one there to be cleared.
Well, Leeds will feel the chances are racking up for them now. It's a 5th corner of the game for the visitors, who had to strike late to win at Swansea in that 4-3 game recently. Rothwell delivers right-footed, flicked on by Tanaka. It'll drop to Strauch at the far post. He crosses, once handball against Story. Didn't look like it. Nothing given by the referee. And now the Preston fans, they're just going to chant handball whenever Leeds touch it.
Story can't do anything about that at all. Strauch just tried to put it back where it came in the danger area. Story's going to press. He doesn't make his body any bigger. He's just running at him. I think it's maybe a foot. It comes off. If it comes off the arm, it'd be a harsh one if it was given.
Off goes Joe Rothwell for Leeds, and on comes another very talented attacking player in the shape of Manor Solomon, who is on a season-long loan from Spurs. Solomon down by the corner flag, trying to cross, blocked off, and the ball is hacked away by Potts. Downfield for Preston. Let's get team news from Ewood Park in the Championship with Chris Hull.
Blackburn Rovers line up with 3 changes from Tuesday's victory at Hillsborough. Ahashi is in for the suspended Cantwell, Cozier Drewbury's in for Dolan, and Harry Pickering also returns for the Hatters. It's a 5-2-3 today with Brown, Morris and Adebayo up top. Rob Edwards going with the same team that beat Stoke 2-1 on Tuesday at Ewood Park. It's Blackburn hosting Luton.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, Blackburn, who were the last team to beat Leeds United on November the 30th, a 1-0 victory that day at Ewood. Is it going to be another away defeat for Leeds, despite their best efforts? Well, certainly looked livelier, Leeds, I think, since they made the initial double change, but it hasn't resulted in an equaliser for them. We've only got, 12 and a half minutes plus added time to go on Talksport. Preston 1-0 up, flag is up against Rees, who he knew he was in an offside position there, Chris, but he nudged the ball forward anyway.
Again, I'm going to say the linesman, he knows he's right. He knows he's offside. You know that Rees and Stroik going for the ball, you know, the ball's bouncing, anything can happen. And I just think that the officials have a responsibility to, if it's blatant like that, put the flag up.
Leicester 1, Chelsea 1, a full-time score in the Women's Super League this lunchtime. That's a great point for struggling Leicester. And Chelsea drop points in the league. In fact, they dropped points for the first time in any competition under Sonia Bonpastor, their head coach. Here's Tanaka for Leeds United driving forward. A heavy touch, half blocked off by Dwayne Holmes of Preston North End, the diminutive midfielder. Then a header clear by Ledson for Preston. Now Ramazzani turns it wide right to James on the near side. Very compact in that final third for Leeds. They've not got much space. Kesler Hayden will play it back. It'll be cleared upfield by Ledson, sweeping it towards the halfway line. Now Tordarson, who tries to smuggle it up the field again, but Leeds have got it back, and it's really going to be attack v defence, I think, here, Chris, for the last 11 minutes plus added time.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Tordarson had an opportunity there. He's trying to play for a free kick, but if in doubt, just put it into the left channel. Give Emil Rees something to run after. Because Majic, I've got to say, done it ever so well. Was always an outlet.
Bogle low cross towards Bamford, who couldn't get there. Sliding challenge came in from Story. Goal kick is given. Leeds furious. Almost out of nothing that. Bamford darted into the near post, and Story did very well defensively.
Well, Jayden Bogle does fantastically well to get the ball across. We don't have the luxury of the screen, so we can't see it again. But why did Bamford go with the left foot? He's going to get there first. He has to come through the right foot, just open it up and just pass it into the back of the net. I don't know why he's went with the far foot to try and throw himself. He's got to work his feet quicker there. He's going to get there before the defender, so I don't understand why he's done it that way. He made it very, very difficult, and it should have been a corner, in fairness.
Well, Preston North End edging closer to just a 5th league win of the season. Starting the day 10 points off the playoffs and 5 clear of the relegation zone. There's no chance they're going to go down, Preston North End. Certainly not if they keep playing like this. High ball downfield for Leeds, aimed at Bamford in a foot race with Story. Hooks it over his shoulder and away from danger. Preston 1, Leeds 0, and we're into the last 10 minutes of normal time at Deepdale. Hooked out of play over his shoulder by Potts. Bristol City 1, QPR 1. Coventry 2, Hull 1 on Talksport 2. Bolton 0, Wigan 2, Leyton Orient 0, Burton 0 in League 1. And in League 2, Salford 3, Notts County 0, Tranmere 2, Harrogate 1. You're up to date. And of course, we'll go around the grounds around the country from 2:30 on Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney, Robert Huth and Mickey Gray, all part of our top team. Arsenal against Everton on Talksport 2. A big game that, of course, at both ends of the table. Frockyar for Preston, halfway. That's a lovely ball cut square into the path of Tordarson. He's up to the edge of the penalty area. He can lay it square. It'll be only half away by Roden for Leeds. There was hesitancy in the defence. They smuggled it away before Rees could get there. Very nervy defending from Leeds United. But again, Preston, as Tordarson raced towards goal, probably should have made more of that. And will it come back to bite them, Chris?
Well, it's one of them. He's in excellent possession of the ball. He's driving forward. He's trying to find Frockyar, but he passes it to Holmes. Holmes is in front of him. He has to communicate as well. You know, ovals, give something as he passes it, and then Frockyar's going to get that opportunity. But that's it's 4v3 in Preston's favour there.
Well, Leeds making a double change, and it's an attacking change. Matteo Joseph on in place of Jayden Bogle, and Ampadu, the club captain who has only recently returned from injury, Ethan Ampadu, on in place of Sam Byram. So Leeds are throwing everything at it here, I think, Chris.
Yeah, just bringing on technical players that can give them a little bit more possession of the ball, but then obviously that threat, Matteo Joseph, and that attacking third as well. You know, a lot of bodies, all very, very, very similar, but they have to create something. You know, they've had big opportunities this second half. The last 10-15 minutes, big opportunities.
There are only 8 minutes plus added time remaining. Well, Leeds going to find something late on, as they often do in the Championship. 9 goals in the final 15 minutes of league games. Mads Frokjaer going off now for Preston. He gets a standing ovation today, and again another key part of this Paul Heckingbottom side. And before Paul Heckingbottom, Frokjaer was also a regular, and they're going to get another big centre-half on for some insurance here, Preston. Jack Watmore, who some Preston fans will have felt was unlucky to be left out today after his performance in the win at Cardiff in midweek. He'll go straight into the middle of probably the biggest back line in English football, Chris.
Yeah, let's say not taking any risks whatsoever, just kind of try and nullify the threat. I think Leeds are bringing on offensive players to try and get that numerical advantage in the attacking third, albeit Preston have the answer for it.
They do so far. Preston 1, Leeds 0. 83 minutes have been played. Out on the right for Preston is McCann, who tries to cut it back, but he was under pressure from 2 in yellow. Goal kick to Leeds in front of the many thousands of travelling fans. A frustrating afternoon for them. Leeds will miss the chance to go top. They only needed a draw to do that. Sheffield United will have the chance to go 4 points clear if they can beat Plymouth Argyle at Bramall Lane. Good turn by Ramazzani, infield from the left-hand side. He's laid it square. Roden, long way out, right of centre. Further wide is James, queuing up in yellow in the middle. James delivers, Bamford back post, can't get his head to it, beaten by Story. Story, I think, has he prevented the corner? No. Another corner for Leeds at the town end away to our right.
Well, it's excellent from Story, isn't it? You know, great little ball to the back area from Dan James. I need more from Bamford. Go and challenge, go be competitive. Go win your aerial duel, put it back into the mix. Story reacted well and then got the clearance as well, albeit not enough, still a corner.
Manor Solomon to take it, right-footed and in swinging, headed away, thumping header clear by Lindsay. And Preston holding firm. Leeds with James out in the left wing position. Back to Solomon now. Dead ball line. He crosses right-footed. Goalkeeper flaps at it. Just about good enough on the ball there, Woodman. Hammered away by Tor Darson. There was a slight element of desperation about the defending there for Preston.
Yeah, well, it was a great defensive header from Lindsay, but this is when the defence should need to step up, get themselves out the box. They actually just said, OK, we'll just stay in our 2 banks in the 18-yard box, run about the penalty spot, and allowed that ball to come back in. Woodman come out. Great connection as well with the hands.
Leeds have hit the bar in the second half through Dan James. He's on the ball now, the number 7. Driving infield from the left, and he finds Ramazzani with a deflected shot. Good save by Woodman. Sprawling to his left-hand side. Long-range effort from Ramazzani. Big deflection on it. Goalkeeper not caught out. It's a corner.
Yeah, from distance as well. You know, why not? He had the opportunity to turn Ramazzani. Let it go. Got fantastic power on it as well, but took a little neck, took the power off it, but also steered it in a different direction. Great reaction save from Woodman.
Less than 5 minutes of normal time to go. Leeds seeking an equaliser. And so much live football across the course of the weekend on the Talksport network. 50 live games in December alone. And every Premier League game live with us on Boxing Day. Leeds will be live with us on Boxing Day away at Stoke on Talksport 2. Corner which Solomon will take again. This one will swing away from goal. Here it comes, right-footed. Goalkeeper stays on his line, and there's a foul. A foul on Potts by Bamford, and a Preston North End free kick. And if Preston do see out the final 4 minutes plus added time, Paul Heckingbottom watching on with his arms folded, you certainly wouldn't begrudge it them.
No, not at all. I think they've been excellent ball in there from Solomon as well. But just Bamford, you know, I think you've got to be alive to it. Rooted, isn't he? You know, tussling away with Potts there. So it's not. He's just got to be a little bit more mobile in that box. Try and go and attack it. Meet the ball at its highest point.
Well, there's not too much time now for Leeds to try and scramble an equaliser. It would take them top, and it's probably the best they can hope for at this point. Ball is up on the halfway line, header away by Lindsay. Drops to Ramazzani, tries to nutmeg Ledson. That was a foul. Free kick to Leeds on the halfway line. Away form is looking a problem for them at the moment, Chris, certainly compared to the form of Lennon Road.
Yeah, well, I've covered Leeds quite a few times away from home, and they've been dominant, they've created opportunities, just not been clinical. But today, they've not posed too much of a threat. But yeah, again, you have to credit Preston.
A little dink down the left by Strauch, and across to sweep it into touch is Ledson. Now 3 minutes left. The game is being played pretty much exclusively in the Preston half. That's the half to the right as we look at it. Leeds are dominating possession, dominating territory, just can't find the equaliser. Bamford should have scored from close range. James hit the bar. That's the closest they've come. And Joseph with his back to goal. The red boots on, tries to win a throw. But retreating is Reese to hold it up for Preston. And it's sent skywards by Story up towards halfway. And then that looked like a foul by Ramazzani. Play on, says the referee. Tordarson nearly through at the other end. Excellent interception by Ampadu coming across the Leeds sub. And a lovely way to pass to James. Driving forward to the corner of the penalty area. Beyond Lindsay. And he's fouled on the corner of the 18-yard box. Yellow card out of the pocket of the referee.
Yeah, it's a sore one, that. Dan James going at full pelt as well. Lindsay knew he was beaten there, just left the leg in. No arguments with the referee as well when John Busby brings out the yellow card, just gets himself back into position. A little pat in the back for Dan James as he walks past him in the box.
He knows.
Yeah. One he had to take for the team there.
Chris Iwelumo, former Scotland striker, with us on Talksport. What a dangerous position this is, Chris. Corner of the penalty area here for Solomon. Preston with everybody back.
Yeah, his quality, his range of passing is excellent. Solomon just has to beat that first man. Patrick Bamford, the offside position.
Delivered in by Solomon, headed away. It's dropped out to the edge of the penalty area. James quickest to it again. Back out wide to Solomon. Plenty of yellow shirts forward. Solomon right-footed, high to the back post. Up into the air from Story. Not away just yet. It drops down on the edge of the 6-yard box and Letson's there to smuggle it clear. Such a spirited display from Preston North End, and they get a standing ovation again from the home crowd. A minute of normal time to go. Preston North End 1, Leeds United 0, and they're on their feet.
Yeah, Ledson's come on. He's fantastic clearance there. Then he's barking at everyone, get out, step up. He's put in a few strong challenges again. He's intercepting it, getting possession for Preston.
And it's won back by Joseph, who shoots from range, and Woodman makes a flying stop. Long way out that effort from Matteo Joseph, and it came through a crowd, and Freddie Woodman turned it aside, and Leeds are really turning up the heat. 30 seconds of normal time to go.
Yeah, quality from Matteo Joseph there, driving 23, 24 yards from goal, but he let it go. I think it took a little deflection as well, changed the direction of the shot.
Leeds now throwing everything at it, but Preston North End are standing firm as we head towards second half added time. 1-0 they lead. Dinked in by Ampadu. With his back to goal is Strauch. He's held it up. He's looked for Bamford. That's blocked off by Story. Has McCann prevented the corner? He hasn't. It'll be an 8th corner for Leeds. Everybody playing up front for Leeds effectively here. Everybody back for Preston North End. 4 added minutes. What a thrilling finish here on Talksport in the EFL. Leeds are going to miss the chance to go top of the championship. Delivered in by Solomon from the corner. Liam Lindsay there again. Brilliant header. He's arguably been the man of the match, but it's not over yet. Leeds back on the attack. James, clearance, big deflection, and Joseph tried to hook it across. It spun off his shin. It's gone behind. The Preston players, some of them punched the air, and the ironic cheers tell you that it's out of play for a goal kick. This is what the championship is all about. So unpredictable, and the form book is going to be turned on its head again.
No, it's excellent, isn't it? Preston have been outstanding. Even there, when Dan James gets the ball, Dwayne Holmes is out, Dodderson's out. They get a contact on the cross that's coming in. Okay, I think Matteo Joseph had a little look at the goal, but the ball was always spinning away. And then he just kind of misread the flight of the ball. He wanted to try and not even hook it in, but try and get a shot away there, but just had no control over the contact.
Preston North End fans on their feet. A minute of the 4 added have been played. Freddie Woodman, the goalkeeper, clears. Stay with us on Talksport. We'll be with Game Day Live for all the goals as they go in next. And build up to Arsenal-Everton on Talksport 2. Kesler Hayden has thundered the ball downfield. Meslier catches it. He's been completely unemployed in this second half, Meslier. Tranmere have beaten Harrogate by 2-1 in League 2. Here is Roden. Leeds 1-0 down. 90 seconds through 4 added. They've struck late before away from home of late in the Championship. They're going to have to do so again. Out on the left is Solomon taking on Potts. Solomon onto the right foot. Cross to Strauch. And the header glancing goalwards was blocked. It's come down towards Piru. Piru edge of the penalty area, can't get it under control. It's away by Ali McCann. Preston really with 11 behind the ball, doing everything they can to keep Leeds United out.
Yeah, they're defending well, throwing everything at it. I've got to see some of the little contacts in the box as well. You just got to be careful you don't have a lazy leg.
2 minutes to go. Attack v defence. Solomon skips away from 2 in white for Leeds. Solomon wide to the near side and James. Again, they're queuing up in the middle. James heads for the dead ball line. Low ball in. Tucked in by Joseph. It's another late Leeds United show. 2.5 minutes into stoppage time, and the substitute has found a way to goal. Preston looked devastated, but 6,000 Leeds United fans have found that was a moment worth waiting for. Leeds maybe are going to go top after all. Preston 1, Leeds 1.
Well, it was coming, they were threatening, weren't they? Dan James just takes a little touch in the 18-yard box, gets that yard and then just fires it across. Matteo Joseph's in complete control. He's got there first. It's his back foot. It's just a little flick with his back foot through his legs. And I've got to say, Freddie Woodman doesn't have a chance here. There's so much pace on the ball itself from Dan James. It's an excellent finish from Matteo Joseph.
Well, Joseph went near post. Could well have been an own goal, we're hearing. Little touch at the near post. He certainly ran away claiming it.
As you would.
As you would. It's 1-1 on Talksport with 30 seconds of added time to go. Preston have actually got a free kick midway inside Leeds United territory. It might well go down as a Jack Watmore own goal. So there is a substitute on the score sheet, but it might be Watmore who turned it beyond his own keeper as Joseph went for it at the near post. Either way, Leeds won't care. Free kick Preston in by Tor Darson. Melier flapped it, didn't get there. It's going to float towards the near side of the field. We've had the 4 added minutes. Story's kept it in play. He's jinked beyond Joseph. He's crossed. It's headed away by Patrick Bamford. Leeds dare not lose now. Kessler Hayden goes back to the goalkeeper. It's 1-1. Freddie Woodman will hammer it away for Preston North End. Leeds have won it back. Solomon racing down the left-hand side. Ramazzani in the middle. Solomon gets to the dead ball line. He crosses. It's turned away. Looked like the ball had gone out of play. Referee says continue. 1-1 the score. Solomon gets Leeds a throw. And the full-time whistle blows. And Leeds salvage a point in stoppage time that does indeed take them to the top of the championship. For Preston North End, a draw that will feel like a defeat after such a gallant effort. Potts' goal in the first half for them, and then Leeds striking right at the very end, right at the point at which it looked like the game was beyond them. The cross whipped into the near post. Joseph went for it. Last touch may well have been of Jack Watmore, the Preston North End defender. And so an enthralling championship encounter ends with Leeds back to the summit above Sheffield United on goal difference. Preston North End 1, Leeds United 1.
And you know what? I think that is going to go down as a Jack Watmore own goal. But there's so much we need to talk about with the goal, which Chris Uwelimo goes in with 92 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock. If you're Preston, how devastated are you?
Yeah, you are. I think they've been excellent today, Adrian. I think defensively, throwing themselves in, stopping the crosses. It's a Preston contact whenever it comes into the box. I think it's been brave in possession as well. Got that goal against the run of play, albeit, but you know what? They weathered the storm, and then that counter-attack's a fantastic goal. But second half, I think they could be a little bit more adventurous. You know, they conceded the goal there, and straight away they're up in the other. They sat deep. They allowed Leeds to have all the ball, and they knew, okay, we have to just be defensively sound. It's something that this Paul Heckingbottom side, they can be that, but I think it was the wrong decision to do, to take the foot off the pedal and show the quality that they had when they're in possession of the ball as well. Leeds were threatening, throwing, bringing on more offensive players. And they were creating opportunities. They had a few big opportunities second half. Bamford missed a blatant one a yard from the line. I don't know how he missed it. Just the contact. Dan James hits the bar. It was always coming. So I thought Joseph got a little touch to that. If it's come off Watmore, it's unlucky. He's tried to throw himself, but Dan James stopped the cross from coming in, and that's what Preston had done so well all day. Dan James just manipulated the ball, had that yard, no backlift, just fired it across. Watmore's got to react better to it. He's got to get across the face of Joseph and make sure it's a defensive clearance, not just that contact.
Well, there's a couple more things as well. Build up to the goal. Manor Solomon is running across field, edge of the box with the ball. He's just going past tackles like they're not there. Do you know why? Because the tackles weren't there. And then the cross coming in from the right-hand side. It's too easy to get the ball into the box, and that's where the danger's going to happen. It's where the goal is scored from. So, yeah, we can look at Watmore and perhaps has to defend it better, try and get in front of his man. I don't know what he's got to do, but don't score an own goal. But before that, so much was wrong from a Preston point of view.
Yeah, well, you look, I think it's been thrown at them, isn't it? You know, I think 60, 70 minutes that they're competitive, and then you could see the body language, you could see it was tired minds. It was a lot of football today without the ball, Adrian, and that zaps the body, you know, mentally and physically as well. And it's something that I think Paul Heckingbottom's alluded to as well. You know, fitness-wise, he's come in, he's not had pre-season with them. He's come in and he's had to do a job with the players that he's inherited. Yeah, okay, they're hard to be beaten. A lot of draws in there. But with the quality they've got, they have to be more threatening as well, especially against a very, very good Leeds side who controlled the game with the ball, but they nullified them. But second half, they made the conscious decision to sit in and let's just protect the lead that we've got, and it was the wrong decision.
At the end, both these sides are going to be pretty disappointed, aren't they?
I think so. I think, you look at it will be like 3 points. Leeds have went top of the table. There's a lot of positives. Okay, that away form is a concern, but they've in a game that they probably shouldn't have got anything out of. They've got that late goal, so they're sitting in with a point. So they'll have a lot to kind of celebrate in there. But Paul Heckingbottom, I think it was he set them up. The game plan, the players took responsibility and put it into action as well. But again, the fitness levels, the concentration levels, they switched off, and you were right. Solomon driving across, no challenges going in. You know, they had opportunities where they're getting that first contact, that first aerial header out the box, and they just stay. They don't step up with any pace, and that's what they were doing ever so well for the first 70 minutes of the game anyway. It's like they were, like you say, tired minds. So, you know, let's everyone just take their position. Who's the closest man? Mark up. Whatever comes in, will defend it. And they were caught out in the end.
Yeah, they were. From a Leeds point of view, just very quickly, they do go top of the table, but as we said, they will be disappointed. I'm just looking at their away form. It's yet another draw away from home for Leeds United. They've won only 3 of their games away from home, 3 of the 10 away from home. And if they are going to be denied automatic promotion, that away form could be the reason.
Well, it is. That's it, exactly. You know, I think that they're still up there. They're still very much in the conversation. They've got a draw today when they probably shouldn't have. But they have to really address the away form. They start picking Elland Road. They've dropped 5 points at Elland Road all season. They're excellent. The fans are there, the faithful. It's a hostile environment. Away from home, they have to start not even performing better, but just being clinical in that attacking third, scoring goals, putting teams to the sword, having that dynamism, that energy, you know, that aggression in the way that they play. You know, they're fantastic to watch. We've already spoken about it. They need to deliver that more consistently away from home.
Chris, it's been a joy listening to your commentary this afternoon. Thank you very much. As Leeds United are held at Preston in the Championship, not the only game.